All right, guys, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I have a lot of fun on those intros. If you're not tuning in live and you're watching the replay, you should catch a live show and you'll see just how much fun I have on the intros when I'm pulling the comments up and you guys are jamming along at home. We've got a little bit of a banger lined up for you today because we like it when we discover new tools. Or I discover new tools. Daisy knows all about all the tools, and every now and then she apprises me of some of them that exist. And we had a lot of fun going through a lot of stuff, looking stuff up, and we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about troll farming a little bit as well, because I think the tool has a little application to troll farming. And of course, we got to talk about the widow. TM, meaning trademark, ladies and gentlemen, trademark. TM, trademark. I can't do the little bitty TM that's raised up. I can't do that on the, gosh, I can't get my lighting right over there. I can't do the TM in the right spot on the titles. So I just had to throw it in parentheses, see if you guys figure out what it meant. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, all that. That way I don't have to say it again. You guys do it. I don't have to say it. Hit the like button, subscribe, alerts, all that. And then you don't have to hear from me again the rest of the night. Now I don't have to look over here and say, are they being compliant? Are they hitting this like? I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin by bringing your attention, and what kind of made me think of this story was Candace spent some time overseas in Ruski. And I remember a few years ago, Ruski was all the rage. Everybody was freaked out about Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia was the mantra of the 2016 campaign. It lasted all through Donald Trump's first term. In fact, it's a little weird that nobody's mentioning it now, but I guess everything's kind of been shifted down towards the Middle East a little more, and nobody thinks about Russia much anymore. But it's always been kind of I almost said an ugly phrase. It's always been kind of the erotic dream of much of the globalists to go to war with Russia. It's the last majority white, majority Christian country on earth that's kind of conservative and doesn't have a global banking structure. So everybody looks at Russia and is like, man, there's a lot of resources there. Wouldn't it be great to take them out on the global stage? And so they've been an easy enemy. For a long time, they were an easy enemy because they had this communist structure, and everybody looked at it and said, well, we don't want communism, and they're promoting communism. So we need to be opposed to Russia. In fact, I grew up in the 1980s as a little kid. You know, I was born in 1979, so I was 10, 11 years old when it became the 1990s. But all through the 1980s, Russia was the boogeyman. Remember, Rocky fought the Russian, and we all had swelled with national pride, even though we knew they weren't going to have a Rocky movie end with a Rocky loss. So, the end was already known, but we were all still caught up in it. I remember as a young kid, I've told this story before, as a young kid, I had a globe in my room. And most people put the globe towards the country, like the front of the globe is the country where you live. Like if you live in the United States, usually the United States kind of faces the room. If you live in, I don't know, like England, maybe England faces the room. But mine, the Soviet Union faced it because I kept an American flag draped over the top of it, dreaming that one day the United States would be victorious over the Soviet Union and they would assume American values. So that Russia was always this kind of boogeyman. And so it's been easy. We have generations of this conditioning that Russia's the boogeyman. Well, something happened during the 2016 election, and everybody sort of agreed. Even the people who didn't think it was that big of a deal thought, I don't know that I like this happening. And it was the Russian troll bot farms. The problem is, after the 2016 elections and the bot farm was sort of dismantled, everybody picked up on the idea that the bot farms were pretty doggone effective considering the amount of money that was spent. In other words, the ROI was outrageous. You could spend just a few $1,000s even, and you could get tremendous return on your money. So out of that grew a new effort. And we'll talk about it a little bit tonight because I think one of our favorite topics on this program is engaged in a little bit of bot farming. We'll look tonight for evidence of that. And it might be what's keeping the widow afloat. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to start with the Russian Internet Research Agency. This was sort of the Russia beginning. It was known by the acronym IRA. And obviously everybody just kind of calls it the troll farm. And our first knowledge of it goes all the way back to 2013 in Russia. It was founded by a guy named Yevgeny Prigozhin. You've never heard of him. I've never heard of him. But Vladimir Putin had. He was a close ally of Vladimir Putin. He was known as Putin's chef because he had catering businesses. And the IRA operated as part of a broader network of linked companies. Initially, they focused primarily on domestic matters. The IRA would be deployed to counter online anti-Kremlin sentiment. You know, in Russia, they don't like protests against the government. Nowhere really does. We don't even like it here in the United States, but we sort of tolerate it. They're having it right now in Albania. They're sort of tolerating it. Doesn't ever change much. It doesn't typically change much, but in some countries, they don't tolerate it at all. And Russia is one of those countries where they don't tolerate it much. So they deployed the bot farm, the IRA bot farm, after the snow revolution protests in 2011 and 2012. And when they found out, it was pretty effective. Early operations involved flooding Russian social media and comment sections with pro-government narratives, and it worked. It worked. Things kind of cooled off a little bit over in Russia. By 2014, they figured they'd take the show on the road. They expanded internationally, and they started targeting Ukraine while Russia was annexing Crimea. And again, these operations are pretty simple. You hire a bunch of trolls. They pose as ordinary users. They jump online. They amplify division. They support a narrative. They just sort of flood the zone. 2 IRA operatives even traveled to the United States in 2014, and they gathered intelligence on American audiences. They interacted with American activist groups, and they tried to figure out if they were going to do an operation here, what would it look like? And this was a pretty marked shift. It was a marked shift towards a more sophisticated influence operation overseas. So they moved offices. They scaled up. By 2015, they had over 1,000 people working in shifts. And that what they did was they would establish quota. Like, we need you to do 100 comments and 10 posts per shift per worker. And so they would get on social media and they would fire off comments. They would get really active in comment threads, and they would start their own posts, and they would work like 12-hour days, and they would work every other day. And so the next day a new shift would come in, and they earned a pretty modest regular salary, and they got bonuses for high performance. They had graphics departments. They had an SEO department. They had data analysts. They had finance teams. And the funding primarily came from the founder, Prigozhin. By September of 2016, just before the election, their budget was over $1 million a month. And it was part of a larger project called Lakta. I don't speak Russian very well. Pardon me, Tyler Boyer. Not my language. That's your language. This supported not only U.S. operations. They weren't putting $1 million a month into the U.S. operations. It was their whole global budget. But the U.S. component started ramping up pretty significantly. And they had a goal. They had a written goal. Their goal was to sow discord in American society. They didn't really care much about what happened other than just to kind of be chaotic. They had internal directives like supporting Donald Trump, supporting Bernie Sanders, attacking Hillary Clinton. They created fake personas. They posed as American activists. They opened up grassroots groups that targeted African Americans or targeted Tea Party Republicans. And they even started opening local organizations that produced their own memes, their own videos, their own news, their own promotional events. And they were sort of operating as events, and they didn't even know who the real leader was. But the direct spending was pretty modest. The actual advertising spending was remarkably modest. The IRA only spent about $100,000 over 2 years on direct advertising spending from June 15 to May 2017. And only about 25% of that, so only about $25,000 of it targeted the U.S. It's a very small amount of money. And think of how much return they got on that little bitty bit of money, because the ads would amplify divisive content. They figured out the game. They figured out that the algorithms would take divisive content like race, immigration, police brutality, gun rights, and everybody would pile on, and it would just spiral out of control. It would grow organically from there. So the paid ad just had to get the conversation going, and the inflamed tensions in America would take care of the rest. So they were I think they attributed 80,000 or so posts on Facebook. And those 80,000 posts ended up reaching 126 million Americans, primarily via, like I said, organic spread. On Twitter, they did over 10 million tweets and generated about 73 million engagements. That's about 7 or so engagements per tweet. Not massive, but not negligible. On Instagram, they saw massive growth. That was the time when Instagram was really growing. Young people initially got on Facebook, and then their grandparents got on Facebook. And they're like, I don't want to be on Facebook if my grandparents are on Facebook. So they got off Facebook, and they went to Instagram. And then the grandparents started going to Instagram. So like, let's go to TikTok. I mean, they just move, boom, 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 boom. So grandma, stay off TikTok, and your kids will have to stop. They won't have to keep learning new platforms. But and now that I'm a grandparent, I can say that. Like I'm allowed to make fun of old people now. I'm old. But the operation exploited these algorithms. They would do an initial ad buy, it would seed the engagement, and then it would boom. And then it would boom. Trolls even went as far as stealing the identities of real Americans. And so your humble host, for example, there might be a Baron Coleman here in the Nashville area that's opening a group or hosting an event, and I wouldn't even know about it. But people would see the name. They'd say, hey, I know that guy. And they would go over there to the event, and I might not be there. And they'd say, oh, Baron didn't make it today. But welcome to the party. And then you might be at an event that nobody hosted, and you thought somebody that you knew was hosting. They even went as far as communicating with real Trump campaign associates who unknowingly coordinated some of the events. It was very, like I said, hyper-targeted content. This wasn't global content. It was very specific, aimed at Trump or Clinton or liberals or conservatives, but specific groups, Black Lives Matter, wedge issues. But the spend on Facebook, the $25,000 to $100,000 spend on Facebook, for example, was dwarfed by the operational cost. Obviously, this thing was a massive operation. You had things like salaries, infrastructure, research that all dwarf the actual ad spend. Anytime you have hundreds of dedicated U.S.-focused trolls and a pretty sophisticated command structure, you have yourself an industrial-scale information warfare. So it built on Russia's long history of these active measures. These are holdovers from the Soviet era of ways to infiltrate and undermine a target population. They've been doing this for decades. The operation became publicly known in stages. Russian independent journalists first blew the whistle on the troll farm as early as 2013. But the Western awareness here in the United States took a little longer to get to us. By 2015, a New York Times investigation profiled the troll factory's daily grind. Then BuzzFeed jumped on and highlighted some specific hoaxes. U.S. intelligence started connecting the dots during the 2016 campaign. And because that was so politicized, everybody kind of questioned, is the intelligence community being honest or are they lying? Because it seemed like they were doing a little bit of both during the 2016 campaign. There was some lying, there was some honesty. Facebook, for its part, Meta now, first publicly disclosed the ad campaigns being connected to Russians in 2017 after the election. And they revealed over the course that there was about $100,000 total dollars spent on inauthentic accounts, about a quarter of that to this Russian troll farm. Then Twitter followed, and then other social media platforms sort of followed after that. And they started identifying a lot of these linked profiles. They had congressional hearings where they brought in the social media executives. They sort of amplified it. And looking back, I wonder if what they were doing in those congressional hearings was setting up what happened over the next few years, where they sort of kicked all controversial people off of social media. I remember being on the radio the day after Alex Jones got kicked off of social media and saying something to the effect of, this is a really bad sign because, yeah, Alex is easy to pick on, but if you're going to kick him off, they're going to kick us all off before the 2020 election. And guess what? They did. Or a lot of us. Your humble host included got kicked off of some platforms before the 2020 election or shortly thereafter. But whatever. Special counsel Robert Mueller gets involved. And once he gets involved, it becomes even more politicized. He turns around and indicts 13 Russian nationals. He indicts 3 companies. Of course, they're not going to show up for trial. They're under the protection of another country. They're not going to be extradited here. But they indicted the troll farms and some of the trolls. And it was a I guess, an indictment to defraud or conspire to defraud the United States, which is a little weird. I'm not quite sure exactly if that would held up anyway, but it didn't matter because nobody showed up. But it described how these trolls posed as Americans. They went as far as staging rallies, spending money, promoting content, and there were some sanctions issued. No harm, no foul. But like I said, the special counsel's team was so politicized, it was basically pointless. But what the IRA did, so let me bring it this way. What the IRA did, what the troll farm did, was exemplify how cheap it is to create chaos and how cheap it is, if you're good at it, how cheap it is to amplify divisive messaging or promote something that's not very popular. You target the audience, you target the advertising, and then you let organic manipulation sort of do the rest. It can manufacture influence at scale. So with an almost laughably small budget targeting the United States, you can reach tens of millions of people. You can exacerbate existing fault lines. You'll get people who just fall in place because they want to be involved. And before you know it, you get a situation like you had during the 2016 election, which probably did not have an effect on the election at all, but at least it succeeded in sowing discord. It sort of set the tone for the next 4 years. People were primed to be angry after Trump won. And to some extent, that can be attributed to the troll farms. They sort of set the stage for that. The case really highlighted the vulnerabilities in social media. So as the news of the troll farm broke, it did spur some reforms. You have some better ad transparency, and even later you get AI detection. But its true legacy might not be the fact that the troll farm was dismantled. The true legacy might be that it kicked off an arms race in how to effectively manage a troll farm. The IRA's model has been replicated. It's been adapted for modern online warfare, and people are using it very much to this day. We'll look at today as an example of how I think TPUSA might be using this exact same model, this troll farm model. It's not hard to spot when you see it. You look and you say, oh, take a divisive issue, amplify it, and watch the organic content sort of mature. We'll look back over several years of what I call TPUSA troll farming. If you get on X, you'll see it operating at even greater scale because in addition to the organic or the advertising spend you get on Facebook that kicks off sort of the conversation, on X, you can actually pay humans or trolls to go in and on every post I make or every post anybody makes, just go in and immediately just start hurling insults. So I put up a post and I say, hey, here's an example of so-and-so telling a lie. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, but your mama. I'm like, my mama what? Like, why are we resorting to fifth grade insults? Why? This is ridiculous. Do you have a problem with the point I'm making? If not, shut up and go away. Because what's happening is we make a point. We're trying to figure out who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why, and to what extent TPUSA has benefited from it, or at least the current crop of people have benefited from it mightily, and whether or not it led to the motivation. Does it go to the who factor of who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why? Or the why factor of who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why? And as we're trying to look into that and we say, oh, notice so-and-so has a nasty history of telling lies, or so-and-so used to work for all these weird people and they look like they might be infiltrating the TPUSA organization. And I wonder, did Charlie Kirk know about it? Well, then they come in and say, well, you're just demonic. You're evil. You're awful. You're horrible. Does your mom know you do? I mean, shut up. Shut up. But that's the example of how the troll farm works. It's just there to sow discord. For example, I'm going to pull up a post today. Everybody likes Ian Carroll, right? Right, class? Everybody likes Ian Carroll. I had a good conversation this afternoon with a fellow podcaster about Ian Carroll. It was a good conversation. It was not bad-mouthing him in any way, but here is a post Ian Carroll put up. There's one political faction in Podcastistan that pays, and it is our greatest ally, and they pay very well. Pay attention to who's here for money and who's here for truth. Now, check this out. Our greatest ally, their government, is now paying former Trump campaign manager and Salem media executive Brad Parscale $46 million in 1 year. Now, if you want perspective here, Saudi Arabia pays Ballard, one of the most connected firms in Washington, about $7 million a year. They're paying $46 million a year for digital advertising, for payment for services. Look at this. This is ludicrous. This was updated a little while back, just a few days ago. But this is absolutely ludicrous amounts of money. Ludicrous amounts of money. And you'll notice the date here. It's day, month, year, day, month, year, day, month, year. So if you look here, it's day, month, year. So this is June 2, not February 6, as we usually read it in America. Our overseas people are not having trouble at all with these dates, but we Americans sometimes struggle with this. But look at the amount of money being spent on digital advertising by our greatest ally. Well, where do you think that money's going? Where do you think the money's going? Like, it's not like they're saying, oh, well, we're going to advertise, we're having a picnic next weekend. Anybody wants to stop by and get some latkes? We'll put some sour cream and some applesauce on the plate, and you can have some potato pancakes or whatever they are. We all went to public school. We all had Jewish people in our class, and they actually had remarkably delicious food at times. And they would bring it for the class, and everybody would have a good time. That's not what they're paying for. They're not paying to advertise that. So it raises the question, what are they paying it for? So this is the, that was the updated fee schedule right there. There was $31.5 million. $31.5 million paid directly to Clocktower X in April of 2026. And it covers the period from April 2026 to October 31st, 2026. That's 6 months. $31.5 million for 6 months. These guys aren't playing around. A common refrain on my Twitter feed anytime I post something is, how much money are you making doing podcasting? Well, not $31.5 million. Not $46 million. Not millions of dollars. But they are. They are. And what are they paying for? Well, we don't know exactly. We got an idea of some of the things they were paying for, and we've looked at that in past episodes. I don't want to redo that episode tonight, because what I want to look at is TPUSA employing this bot farm, this troll farm strategy. This troll farm strategy. I'm going to start with just sort of an overview of the last 90 days. The last 90 days, this is how much it costs to support the widow. The last 90 days, Turning Point PAC, for example, on Meta, this is Facebook and Instagram and Threads. The last 90 days, a company that only has 1.9 thousand likes has spent $425,000 in advertisements on Facebook, Meta. TPUSA events, $300,000. So between the two, they're at $730,000. Turning Point USA, another $250,000. So now we're at $1 million. We're at $1 million, give or take. Just those three entities. The last 90 days, we're at $1 million in Facebook ads. Then we get down to Turning Point Action. This is the political arm that is, most of this $145,000 was spent, that I can tell, recruiting people to chase ballots, whatever that means. You have TPUSA students. This Charlie Kirk page, this is all, I will go ahead and spoil the surprise. All $30,000 of that was paid for from the Charlie Kirk page. All $30,000 of that was paid for by Salem Media. We just talked about Salem Media, C-suite executive Brad Parscale got $46 million from our greatest ally. They put $30,000 of that directly in the Charlie Kirk page. TPUSA Faith. And then you get this weird one down here. Andrew Colvett. We're going to look at that one a little closer. And even Alex Clark. We're going to look at that very closely here in just a little bit. Alex Clark, of course, most famous for marrying a very straight man. A very, very straight man. Very manly, very straight. Maybe the manliest, straightest man I've ever talked to. Or not, I've never talked to him, that I've ever seen online. And she's very effeminate, too. So this is just sort of a general overview. You're looking well over $1 million just the last 90 days spent by Turning Point USA entities. We included the Daily Wire in there so that you could have a comparison in how some other organizations are doing it. Keep in mind, the Daily Wire is a commercial organization. So I'll pull it back up if you didn't see the Daily Wire part as I went through it. The Daily Wire is trying to make a living. TPUSA is a nonprofit entity, but the Daily Wire here, $200,000 for their premium service, their Daily Wire Plus. Ben Shapiro, another 67, trying to make it look like people watch his videos. And then the Daily Wire itself, another 11,000. So the very commercial, very large commercial entity, Daily Wire, spent about $250,000 in the last 90 days. Our nonprofit, TPUSA, that exists solely to, it's a nonprofit. It's supposed to benefit society, has spent $1 billion, $1 million in just 90 days. And so where are they spending the money? Well, let's just take a broader look here. So let's show you this tool that Meta has where you can actually look behind the curtain. You can open the curtain and get a look at the Wizard of Oz, or the Widow of Oz, as Candace actually brilliantly labeled that today. So you can open it up, you click on a button, you type in the name of the people you want to look at, and you can get an idea of what they are advertising. So, for example, if you look at Turning Point USA says no ads. Hold on, let me click on. Here we go. Let's just take one particular ad. Do you remember Erika Kirk at the memorial with her "I forgive him" shtick, where she was like, "That young man, I forgive him." You remember that? And it seemed like such an organic moment. Would you ever in a million years believe that TPUSA would have bought an advertisement to promote a short promoting that clip? I forgive him, paid for by Turning Point USA. They only spent a couple $1,000s, to be fair. They anticipated that spend would reach 1 million plus people. It only reached about 800,000 people. But it was gross to me. It was gross to me. Here's why it's so nasty. If you're going to forgive somebody, it should solely be because you forgive that person. That's like a Christian, almost a sacrament, right? It's like sacramental forgiveness of somebody. I forgive you. God forgave me. We all get better together. Can you imagine forgiving someone, recording it, and then boosting that on social media? I cannot for the life of me imagine a scenario where that would ever cross my mind. Sorry, I just sent a text real quick. It would never cross my mind to do that. It's disgusting. That young man, I forgive him. Oh, clip that. We got to boost it. Put $2,000 on it. Stat. That was beautiful. Everyone's going to fall in love with her. We're going to support the widow. Don't attack the widow. Well, the widow's advertising her forgiveness. It's a little weird if we're being honest. It wasn't just that, though. For example, Erika Kirk gave a brief little speech not too terribly long ago on finding rest in the midst of chaos. They put $30,000 behind advertising this to get 1 million people to watch it, or more than 1 million people.
Amidst of all of this grief and all of the busyness and all of the activities and the chaos of planning, how do you find rest?
This job title is not a job title to me. This is not a 9-to-5. This is something that I watched my husband build with his blood, sweat, and tears and gave his life for. This organization is a piece of my husband that lives on. Rest for my soul, that's something that I intentionally carve into, and that's reading God's word. But that's also surrounding myself with people that are sending me Bible verses every day, that are praying over me, praying with me. I am the type of person that instead of running and retreating, I find my rest and my purpose and running towards what other people would run away from. And I, again, feel closer to my husband running towards the discomfort of what is set before me, because I am literally living out a piece of Charlie's book where it says, just keep moving, trust the Lord, keep going. It might not make any sense, but one day when you get to heaven and you're standing face to face with our Savior, it will.
Clip it. Put 30 grand behind it. People are going to love her Christian shtick. Make sure everyone sees it. Get it up to 1 million people. So we're advertising, I forgive him. That young man, I forgive him. We're advertising that. And now we're advertising how great of a Christian I am. It's a little weird. Frankly, the more I think about it, it's kind of strange. And the morbid talking about your husband with the weird up talk. I mean, that's, it is what it is, but 30 grand, $30,000, that's almost the median salary of an American. You could have employed somebody for that money. Here is another one, another ad spend here. This is, where's my share screen here? $15,000 put behind this one, 10 to 15,000 to get 1 million people here. Now, if you click this, you can actually see where it went. This is great. You can see where it went. This almost went exclusively to men, which becomes kind of a common theme. We'll look a little bit at some of the Women's Leadership Summit stats, and they almost all went to men. Why? Because they put pretty women on the ads. What do men do when they're scrolling social media and see a pretty woman? They click on it. I'm just guys, if you need me to, I offered my services for $15 million. For $15 million, we could turn TPUSA around. We will believe in radical transparency, radical accountability, and we will actually advertise to the people we're intending to get. And we're not going to advertise the Young Women's Leadership Summit primarily to 45 to 54-year-old men. But I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So you can actually see who the ad went to. But $15,000.
I'm very proud to say that during
$15,000, believe it or not, for this.
During my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal.
It was her with the State of the Union thing. Okay, we'll stop there.
So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin.
I want you to zoom in on this woman to the right here of Erika. This is the mother of the international girl who was on the train in Charlotte, and she got kind of violently taken out. Neck wound. And she grief mogged Erika. She grief mogged her. I didn't even know grief mogging was a thing. They put money behind that. They put money. They paid people to watch it. They paid people to watch Erika get honored. Now, keep in mind, what is the purpose of advertising? It's to ask someone to do something. You're trying to get something out of it. So if I'm advertising, if I'm Adidas, I do not advertise with them. They don't advertise with me. But let's say I'm so I might pay your humble host to wear a sweatshirt and talk about it at the end of the show. If you want to go comfortable sweatshirt, wear this. Vatican comes in Vatican City blue. Vatican City ceiling blue. So I mean, and you get that's advertising. Why is Adidas paying? Because they want to sell sweatshirts. If I advertise Nike sneakers, I want to sell some sneaks. I'm a Subway. Like, I advertise some sandwiches. So I hire a pervert and he loses a bunch of weight and everybody rushes out to buy sandwiches because they want to lose weight like the pervert. Whatever it is, like you're asking someone to do something. Not on its face evident what they're asking people to do with this set of advertising. The first one was apparently advertising how holy Erika Kirk is for forgiving that young man. What are essentially they buying here? They want you to believe Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. That young man, I forgive him. They basically paid, what is it, 30 grand or whatever, the $2,000, whatever they paid. They paid money so that people would be reminded he killed them. I don't know whether that's like interfering with the jury and all that. I don't know what percentage that went to Utah. I guess you could look into all that. But it's weird. I'll tell you that. It's weird. The second one, they paid like 20 grand or whatever that was for people to hear how holy Erika Kirk is in dealing with struggles and how running TPUSA is a higher calling. And then they paid $10,000 to $15,000 so that people could see Erika Kirk get grief mogged by a woman actually in grief that was standing next to her. But that's probably not what they were. They probably wanted you to know that she got that Medal of Honor or Medal of Freedom, whatever it is. And so you got to think, what is the intent behind each advertisement? All three of those were not a call to action. It wasn't like join TPUSA. It was just, we've got to support this woman. Obviously, her reputation is destroying the organization. So we've got to build her up by showing her in positions where she looks better than she does most of the time. Did anybody buy the Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt? Did anybody buy the Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt? Kind of morbid, right? Come get a piece of history. You can wear the same shirt Charlie Kirk was slain in. Maybe you won't end up with the same fate while wearing it. Maybe your neck will stay whole. It's kind of a weird thing to put money towards, but not for TPUSA, because they put $80,000 to $90,000 behind this advertisement to buy the Freedom shirt. $80,000 to $90,000 to remind people to buy the shirt Charlie Kirk was killed in. $80,000 to $90,000. Where did it go? Again, men. This time, at least young men, not old men. But then, oh yeah, you do get a little geographic breakdown of all of it. But yeah, would you like to wear the shirt Charlie Kirk died in? Well, we think people will. We're going to pay $90,000 to move some merch. You guys accuse me of profiting off his death? This is literally profiting off his death. This was the shirt he died in. You find it so profitable, you actually advertise it. It's weird. It's beyond weird. Beyond weird. What about the memorial speech? What about Erika Kirk's memorial speech? Who doesn't want to see a grieving widow? After all, we have to support the widow. We have to honor the widow. The very manly Dana Lash reminds us, honor the widow. If you don't believe me, there are clips of her saying it online. They paid $15,000-ish. Within 5 hours of her giving the speech. She gave the speech, they immediately clipped it and started sending it out as an advertisement.
After Charlie's assassination, we didn't see violence. We didn't see rioting.
Kind of a weird thing to cheer for. I mean, hopefully you don't see rioting typically.
Instead, we saw what my husband always prayed he would see in this country. We saw revival.
Support the widow. Support the widow. You know what a lot of people were thinking of 5 hours after the memorial? They were still in shock. They were grieving. It was, I watched it. A lot of people watched it. It was, frankly, pretty impressive to see that many people come together. I have nothing negative to say about the memorial. Almost nothing negative to say about the memorial whatsoever. You know what I would have never done if I was TPUSA? Never. I would never have clipped the grieving widow and profited off of it. Again, advertising brings you a return. Are we supposed to honor her or are we supposed to grift off of her? I can't decide based on this advertising campaign. Dana Lash, can you tell me? Am I supposed to honor the widow? Or am I supposed to grift off of her? Am I supposed to clip her, advertise, and hopefully get a little coin out of it? Sell some t-shirts, maybe get people to sign up. It's a little weird. Now, let's switch gears. We talked about the widow. What about some of the other clowns at TPUSA? How about Alex Clark? She's very effeminate, and she married a very masculine man, or she's marrying a very masculine man. She did some advertisements here for cowboy colostrum or collagen, but she also did a series of ads, 3 different ads for a podcast she did. A new episode of Culture Apothecary. This is her podcast out now with Andrew Colvett, Charlie Kirk's best friend and executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show. Comment Charlie and I'll DM you a link to the episode. What if I told you we're diving into every single conspiracy theory surrounding the life and death? Guys, she did 3 different ad campaigns on this one episode. When you total it up, this one's only $100. It only reached a few thousand people. This one reached 450 to 500,000 people. They spent $5,000. This one spent $7,000 and they reached about 700,000 people. So they spent between $11,000 and $12,000 to promote a single podcast episode. Based on these impressions, even if every single person who watched this, take it from somebody who does this for a living and knows how these metrics work, even if every single person who watched this ended up, or who received this ad ended up watching the episode, they would lose money on it. And look who they're reaching. It's basically the 55 and up set. 24% of the people that saw the ad were over the age of 65. Another 27% over the age of 55. So well more than half are 55 and up. That's your new TPUSA, ladies and gentlemen. That's your new TPUSA. Alex Clark, TPUSA, on behalf of Alex Clark, paid almost $12,000, in the neighborhood of $12,000 for people to watch a single episode with Andrew Colvett. I've looked at the numbers. It didn't get that many views. So what are they paying for? What's in the episode that they want people to see so badly? What is it about? Oh, is there an Andrew Colvett component? Are they starting to push Andrew Colvett? You know, they're still running that ad. That ad is active. Like, that ad is still being paid for. You're still paying money to get that ad. What about Andrew Colvett? Is he buying ads personally himself? Well, as a matter of fact, he is. Here is his ad history on Meta. 8 results. This one started running on April 29th. Do a little math. That was about 6 weeks ago. He spent $6,000 total dollars so far to get 600,000 impressions, give or take. And all it's asking you to do is hit the follow button on the bottom right if you still support President Trump. Notice this is his personal page. So what he's trying to do is build his following, his personal following for his personal page by using his ATK company spend. So he's building his page here. Here's another one. Hit the follow button on the bottom right if you still support Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Hit the follow button in the bottom right if you agree illegals shouldn't drive on our, I can't even do it anymore, on our taxpayer-funded roads. Where's Dana Lash when I need her? So all he's doing is buying ads to boost his personal following. Well, that in and of itself is a little weird. It started on April 29th. What else started on April 29th-ish? Well, let's go to the Charlie Kirk YouTube page. Let's go to the Charlie Kirk YouTube page. We'll look around, see if we can spot anything else that's happened here lately. This is it, the official Charlie Kirk page. As normal, they do clips of the Charlie Kirk show, and they put it on the Charlie Kirk page. Well, that makes sense. What's wrong, Barron? Where are we going with this? Oh. Notice, no longer is it just going to the Charlie Kirk page. It's also going to the Andrew Colvette page, his personal page. That was 43 minutes ago they put that one up. That was an hour ago they put a clip up. That was a day ago they put a clip up on the Charlie Kirk page and the Andrew Colvette page. Here we go, another day ago. This is Carmelo Anthony learns his fate. Got to get that race grifting in there. That's one day ago. Andrew Cole. So what they're doing, what's happening is, instead of just clipping the Charlie Kirk show and putting it on the Charlie Kirk page, they're taking the Charlie Kirk show and they're using that clip to build the brand of Andrew Colvette. How long ago did this start? Because we look and see quite a bit of these. How long ago did this start? Well, would you believe it? It was not too terribly long ago, about the time he started advertising and building his own brand. So Andrew Colvette makes you wonder, is he about to get canned? Is he building up his personal brand because he doesn't have much of a future at TPUSA? He doesn't have much future at the Charlie Kirk show? I kind of suspect, frankly, based on that alone, I kind of wonder. I can't think of any other reason you would do that. Can you imagine if you were working somewhere and you were using their resources, their studio, their space, their processing, their computers, and you were like using that to push revenue or to push name recognition over to you? Or he could be doing the exact opposite. Could be doing the exact opposite. Not a lot of people know who Andrew Colvette is, but he sort of is the one, I believe. He was doing most of Charlie Kirk's tweeting in his day. I'm sure he's doing the same thing for Erika Kirk now. Her tweets are sort of vanilla, run-of-the-mill, mid-range Republic. What if they're using it to push her out? And they're just propping him up. They're trying to show that he has a following. Oh, look, he has a YouTube page. He has an effective Facebook page. Lots of social media followers. So he would be a good person to step in and fill in for Charlie Kirk. Maybe. I don't know. What about TPUSA Faith? That boondoggle of an organization that ended up, frankly, in my opinion, being the reason Charlie Kirk is dead. You can see they run a lot of ads. They've got a lot of inactive ads. They ran a lot of ads in the past, but most of these just stopped here recently. Follow us if you're standing on faith in 2026. Picture Charlie Kirk, obviously grifting off the dead man. We've got our Make Heaven Crowded tour stops. Rapid City, South Dakota. They actually screwed up and ran an ad without a disclaimer. Got a little ding to them. So TPUSA Faith is out here running ads. What about the TPUSA events page? This is a page I didn't even know existed. I'm going to show you something very interesting about this. If you want to understand why Erika Kirk did not show up to the University of Georgia event, if you're one of those people out there who still believes in the security incident myth, Like, we went to the moon. Saudis took down the Twin Towers in Building 7 and the plane that evaporated in Pennsylvania. If you still believe in all this stuff, boy, do I have one for you tonight. But first, let's just get a global look at TPUSA events. Just see the kind of things that they typically advertise and what kind of money they spend on it. Here is a TPUSA event at the University of Idaho. That was a very successful event, frankly, with Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles. They spent about $40,000 advertising that over the course of about a week and a half. So you have here $35,000 to $40,000 over the course of 9 days advertising this Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles event. We'll get back to this J.D. Vance and Erika Kirk one at the University of Georgia in a second. What about Ohio State University with Savannah Chrisley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Lawrence Jones? It was a pretty good event. They spent about $20,000 advertising that. Then you kind of look down and you can see some of the other stuff that they've done here. So let's go up and look at this one. We had 3 different ads for this University of Georgia event. Remember, nobody showed up to it. This Ohio State, pretty good. The Idaho, University of Idaho, great. They did a great job up there. Let's check this one out. Let's see if we see a panic anywhere. Here's the normal spend. We take our $30,000 to $35,000 and we put it in and we say, we're going to get enough people here with this advertising. We're going to fill up the arena. We got the Vice President of the United States, potential future Vice President, Erika Kirk, the widow. We're going to blow the doors off of this place. So they spend their $35,000 here. They reach between 100 and 500,000 people. And then by April 14th, they think, oh, man, nobody's showing up. Let's run another ad. So they dump another $10,000 to $15,000 into this. By April 12th, they can't get enough money into this thing. They had this thing running for 15 hours on full blast. They got 350,000 impressions, blew through another $10,000 or $15,000. We got to get more. We got to get another $15,000 to $20,000 poured into this thing. Another 500,000 to 1 million impressions. Or another 700 to 800,000 impressions. All total, 35 plus 15 is 50 plus 20 is 70. They spent $60,000 to $70,000 on this ad buy over 3 different ad campaigns, including 2 emergency add-on ad campaigns at the end. And nobody showed up. When they got there, there were like a few hundred people there in the audience. The whole back of the place was empty. All the sides were empty. Most of the floor was empty. $70,000. Not to mention the $150,000 she spent flying back and forth to the event on a Gulfstream 5, but that's a different discussion. And nobody showed up. This is unusual for TPUSA. Because what they've learned is what the Russians learned. If you pour money into advertising, if you just get social media going, the organic component will come in and it will lift it up and it will sort of take off. Well, here's what the stadium looked like after they spent their $60,000 to $70,000 advertising this event. TPUSA people show up, they get all set up, they open the doors, and this happens. Nobody showed up. Nobody showed up. You remember how at UVU, they said they sent a picture of the venue to Charlie because that was their normal thing that they did? They would send a picture out to Charlie of what the venue crowd looked like so he would know what to expect. Is there any reason to believe they don't do that still to this day? Is there any reason to believe that they're like, no, but with Erika, we're not going to do that. We're not going to send a picture of the venue. We're just going to let her show up and see what happens. No. Almost assuredly, they still send a picture of the venue. That's the venue. That's the venue. That's what it looked like. Don't believe me? We have video. This is video of the venue seconds before it kicks off. I'm going to mute it because it's got a little bed behind it. But here is the venue. Look at all those empty seats. That place was supposed to be raucous. The vice president, the widow, $70,000 in advertising, all the money flying people back and forth, all the money on the set design, the setup, all the money on. Nobody wanted to see her. This was in the wake of the Drewski skit. People don't want to go to see someone Drewski's like getting 150 million views making fun of. And I'm sure they took a look at it. We're like, well, we tried. We spent a bunch of money. We can't get anybody here. Now let's look at a morbid one. Frankly, a morbid one. There were a lot of questions about the timing of this event. This is the ad spin for the Utah Valley University event. You can see it right here. Utah Valley University joined Charlie Kirk on campus for a lively discussion of freedom and America. Don't agree with Charlie? Great. You go to the front of the line. See you there. And here is the link to limited free tickets, Utah Valley University. We now know they didn't check the tickets. Anybody could have just walked up. You didn't have to click. There's your little book now button. There's the poster. And we see that they only spent $4,500 on this ad. Not $70,000 like they spent with Erika at Georgia. Not $70,000. $4,500. They only got 350,000 impressions. She got like 2 million on her ad campaign. That's $70,000, about like 2 million plus ad for her, impressions for her, and the place was blanket empty. No one was there. They spend $4,500. They get 350,000 impressions, and the place is busting at the seams. If you're curious, because you're morbid in like timelines, the advertising started on August 27th, and that is very consistent when with the timing of them announcing it on Facebook. I think their announcement is on Facebook. Someone asked what impressions are. What impressions are is when you're scrolling Facebook and you see the ad in your feed, that's an impression. That doesn't mean you clicked on the ad. It just means you saw the ad. It was running by. You scroll, you see ads on Twitter, you see ads on YouTube. Those are impressions. Did you see the ad or not? Not did you interact with the ad, not did you click book now, not did you click follow, not did you open up their page. Just did it scroll by? Did it scroll by? So that's the UVU ad. $4,500. And the place was packed for hours leading up to it and just, shoulder to shoulder during the event. $70,000 spent for the Vice President of the United States and Erika Kirk. And the place was empty. It was a ghost town. So much so that she refused to go out on stage. Allegedly, in my opinion. There was a lot of question about what prep was done for the next event after the UVU event. Well, let's look, because this was it. Same day as the Charlie Kirk UVU event kicked off, August 27th, same day as that advertising campaign kicked off, the Colorado State University at Fort Collins advertising kicked off. Exact same language. Attention, Colorado State University. Join Charlie Kirk on campus for a lively discussion of freedom in America. Don't agree with Charlie? Great. You go to the front of the line. See you there. And then you get the same little booking thing here and some details here of the event. I do find it interesting that this was an evening-only event. And the UVU one was a day-only event. Estimated audience size for this spend was 50 to 100,000 impressions. They ended up with almost 350,000, 350,000. If we go back to the UVU, they had a little higher hopes for this one. The estimated audience size was 100 to 500,000 and got 350,000 impressions, but the same amount spent, $4,000 to $4,500 on that. Now, does that mean, well, we got one more actually. Let me show you this one. This was after Charlie Kirk passed away. This was the University of Minnesota event. Now, notice the date here. So for the Colorado State event and for the UVU event, both of those started on August 27th. August 27th was about 2 weeks before the UVU event, and it was about 3 weeks, give or take, a little more than that perhaps, 3.5 weeks more than the Colorado State event, ahead of the Colorado State event. This was the first event after Charlie Kirk passed away. University of Minnesota Twin Cities, 9/22. This was the day after the memorial. They held an event the day after the memorial, which I still find very weird. Michael Knowles, the great Michael Knowles, as some people refer to him, joined Michael Knowles on campus for a high-energy event featuring a candid conversation about conservative values, followed by a live Q&A. Probably could have left out live there, right? You know, probably could have left out the word live the day after Charlie Kirk's memorial, but the movement will not stop. Join us. And then they have the tour date here. Again, I guess learn more or probably booking tickets there. So it's a little different, but they put more money behind this. Remember, they only put $4,000 to $4,500 behind the Charlie Kirk event at UVU in Colorado State. They put $10,000 to $15,000 behind this, and of course, the impressions go up. And it was a successful event, but they didn't start running the ad until September 19th. Interestingly enough, September 19th is the day that Candace Owens played the video. Just to give you guys a timestamp, I'm not saying these are two facts are related, but that was the day she played or said she had seen the video, and that the whatever happened to Charlie's neck did not go through him, did not go through to the back of the neck, did not create an exit wound. That was on September 19th. That was the day they all began scrambling, trying to come up with Superman neck and frangible bullet theories. That was Superman neck and frangible bullet theory day. Now, I would have thought they had more things on their mind the day before the memorial than to start an advertising campaign. The day that Erika accepted the appointment to become, or they announced that she had accepted the appointment to become the new CEO, the replacement of Charlie Kirk, was September 18th. So she accepts the appointment on September 18th. That's when the announcement goes out. The next day, they begin an advertising campaign for the University of Minnesota Twin Cities event on September 19th. That's the day Candace Owens says, hey, it didn't go through the back of his neck. It should have gone through the back. Everybody assumed it went through the back of his neck. Why wouldn't it have gone through the back of his neck? All the military vet bros started doing videos, and they would shoot anything that had meat, pork tenderloins, pork shoulders, pork femurs, pork shanks, butts, chickens, frozen chickens, melted chickens, thawed chickens. They would shoot beef. They would shoot steaks. They would shoot anything that had mass, anything that had muscle. And 1,000% of the time, no matter what 30-06 round they fired at it, no matter what distance they fired it from, it just went clean through. It like blew as Jimmy Dore said, a drive-through window through the back of the meat, leading many to conclude that it was nearly impossible that there was no exit wound if a 30-06 was used. And then Candace comes along on September 19th and says, I didn't see an exit wound. I watched the video. There's no exit wound. Saw the necklace flip around, saw the shirt go all crazy, but no exit wound. That's weird. Then they have an emergency meeting. Andrew Colvett, Erika Kirk, the doctor, they all get together. Hey, doc, you know He had a Superman neck. He ate a lot of spinach. He was like Popeye. He was like Popeye. Now let's look at another event. Another event that got canceled. After Erika Kirk stood up Vice President Vance, he actually did the event at Georgia with a very underdressed Andrew Colvett looking newly homeless, like he had just lost his house that day or maybe the day before. They were supposed to go to Iowa. That was going to be the big makeup date. Well, that didn't happen either, but they did advertise for it before they canceled the event. This was the Iowa event. Attention, Iowa State University. Join Vice President J.D. Vance for a high-energy evening featuring a candid conversation about freedom. Each stop is a chance to honor Charlie's mission and keep the fight alive. We know he wouldn't want us to surrender or be coerced into silence. Well, guess what? You guys surrendered and went into silence on this event because you canceled it. Free speech is free only if we use our voices. Well, you didn't use your voices. You canceled the event. So all these people got all excited about coming. 1 million people saw this ad. You guys spent $20,000 on the ad, and then everybody decided, you know what? We don't want the vice president standing there with a slovenly dressed Andrew Colvett again. So let's go ahead and cancel this one too. So that's 20 grand up in smoke. Hope you didn't donate to them because that's what they're doing with your money. These are just the events. Now, what about some of the political positions? Because we've got political ads, believe it or not. TPUSA is not supposed to be running political ads. They're a nonprofit, a 501c3. They're not supposed to get involved in politics, but what kind of ads are they running? Let's take a look. Here is an ad about what happens under an Islamic regime. This is what happens under an Islamic regime. And then they've got a guy here in a backwards ball cap. This started running on February 25th of this year, 2026, just a couple of months ago. They only spent a few $100s on it, and it only got a few impressions. But this is an interesting turn. What else are we running ads on for TPUSA? Oh, more anti-Islam stuff. It's almost as if there's a war going on in Iran that we've got to support or getting ready to start. This is February 20th, 2026. They estimated the audience size at 1 million. They didn't get there. 6,000 to 7,000, only spent $100 or so. Do Western rights conflict with Islam? Interesting choice of gearing up, knowing that a war is going to kick off in Iran shortly thereafter. Well, we're not supposed to know a war was about to kick off in Iran. That was supposedly a surprise, but they were spending a bunch of money gearing up for it. What else were they running this same week? This is all in February 20th to 27th. Turning Point USA. Also running, what should the Western approach to Islam be? Featuring a former Muslim here. Again, only spent about a little under $100. Only got 9,000 to 10,000 impressions. You see why that happens, though. You got to know how Facebook ad spins work. If people don't want your ad, if they don't interact with it, it stops running. It's not effective. This isn't appealing to people. Like, people are not swayed by this. This is an ad from Michael Knowles' appearance in Idaho, talking about America's Christian roots. They only spent $400 to $500 on that, got a few 100,000 impressions, and then shut the ad down. So it's almost as if a guy who was the CEO who was saying, I'm not sure we need to do regime change war in Iran, was sort of in the way with the plans TPUSA had to malign Muslims in an attempt to get people all lathered up to go to war in Iran. Sort of what it seems like. What about the Iran war specifically? What about the Iran war specifically? Talk about maligning our, opponent, whatever you want to call them in Iran. Does President Trump deserve credit for the success of Epic Fury? Venezuela and Iran, 2 dictatorships crippled, 0 U.S. fatalities. Well, I spoke a little too quickly there. Guess relying on Russia isn't the best bet. Oh, this is turning point, ladies and gentlemen. Granted, they only spent a little bit of money, but what a weird.
Fox News can confirm that Iran's.
You even got that crazy music in the background. This one aged poorly. This one aged really, 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 really poorly. This is going back in time to 2024. You'll remember at the time Joe Biden was president. And so they had to get out there and trash Joe Biden. This turning point action here. Reminder, Biden knows he has no authority to force us into a military conflict. This is when Charlie Kirk was alive. Joe Biden is saying, let's be clear, Donald Trump does not have the authority to take us to war with Iran without congressional approval. A president should never take this nation to war without the informed consent of the American people. And TPUSA says, yeah, we agree with you. Because at the time, Charlie Kirk did not want the United States going to war with Iran. And so what he's saying is, I don't believe Congress would vote to send us to war with Iran. I don't believe the American people want war with Iran. And so we are reminding Biden, you can't do this. This is a limitation. They were trying to, Charlie Kirk was paying for advertising to stop the United States president from going to war with Iran without congressional approval. That was before he died. That's a very poorly aged ad for TPUSA. They should run it again. If they had any stones, if they really wanted to honor Charlie Kirk's legacy, they would run this ad again. But they don't, because they're just political hacks who are pissing on the memory of their founder. So how much have they spent on these Facebook ads? Here's a total spend. This is just TPUSA over the last 7 years on Facebook. This is not TPUSA Faith. This isn't TPUSA Events. This isn't TPUSA Action. They've spent almost $5 million on these Facebook ads over the last 5 years. Give or take. That's a high cost of manipulating social media. Now, let's just look real quickly at the spend before Charlie Kirk died and the spend after he died, because we can limit that by year. By year. So it's been 9 months today since Charlie Kirk passed. So let's look at the 9 months before Charlie Kirk died. We have all these ads here. And if you click on the details, you can see they're getting 15,000 impressions for $300. 15,000 impressions for $300. You can go to some specific, I don't know if I shared that or not. If I didn't share that, I apologize. I'm sharing it now. You can go to specific advertisements. You can look at the types of advertisements they were doing. They were selling a lot of T-shirts, a lot of T-shirt ads. Wow, they sell a lot of merch. Holy mackerel, they sell a lot of merch. A lot of merch sales for TPUSA before Charlie Kirk died. This is all in the week leading up to him dying, by the way, from September 5 to 7, September 5 to 10. Almost as, well, I don't want to read too much into it, but this is very handy if you're gearing up to sell a lot of merch the next week. A lot of very handy ads if you want to sell this. The week before he died, I've just look at all this merch sale, all these merch ads. The week before he dies, look how many merch ads they run. This is the month before he dies. Now you're getting into some of the actual content. So let's just look at an example, an ad that ran. I have no idea what this is going to show. Charlie Kirk, we click the summary details. They spent about 2,000 to reach 700,000 people, 7,000 to reach more than a million people. I mean, a small spin to reach a whole lot of people because people wanted to click on the Charlie Kirk content. So let's look at after Charlie Kirk dies. Weird that the week before he died, they focused a lot of money on merch sales. Like they were gearing up for merch. I don't know why. I'm not going to draw conclusions about why. I don't want to draw any conclusions about why. But let's go to, this is after, the 9 months after. So this is confirmed speakers for the Make Heaven Crowded tour. Here's a Erika Kirk clip here, it started running in February, still running now. It's run all the way across. This is that finding rest in the midst of chaos. 30,000, less than 100, 3,500, 6,000, 3,000. So they've spent, earlier I said 30,000 on this speech, but they actually spent closer to probably $40,000 promoting the widow. They didn't have to spend that much to promote Charlie. Didn't cost them $40,000 to get people to click on a clip of him talking. Let's look at one more random one here. I'll pull this back up. This is the after Charlie Kirk passed. Weird that they didn't have like this giant merch run right before he passed. Yeah. It's acting up. But anyway, so my point here, I'm going to show you one more comparison before and after, because I want to show you what the Women's Leadership Summit ad looked like before he died and after. Because before he died, the Women's Leadership Summit ad looked like this. This is an ad that ran. They spent $500 on it. Surround yourself with unapologetic women united in faith, family, and well-being at our Women's Leadership Summit 2025. Registration is now open for the largest conservative event for women of all ages at the Young Women's Leadership Summit 2025. And apparently they thought cross-stitching was what was going to bring them in to Dallas, Texas last June. They spent under $500. They got 200,000 impressions. If you look at the details, it's all men. It's all men. 48% plus 17, that's 65. Plus 11 is 76%. Another one, 77% of the people who saw this Young Women's Leadership Summit ad were men. I'm telling you guys, for $15 million, I will come in and solve your problems. You will not be advertising your Young Women's Leadership Summit primarily to men. But they only spent $500, so it's not that big of a deal. And what about after? What does it look like after? I have no idea why this is the ad that's associated with it, but it's Nicki Minaj has arrived. And it's got Nicki Minaj coming in. So I don't know why they do what they do. I don't understand why they do what they do. But the grifting, your opponents will always accuse you of doing what you're doing. Like, I don't even care if they grift off of Charlie's death. I just want to know who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. That's all I care about. That's all I care about is who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. That's all I care about. I am concerned that the who and the why have a lot to do with the current leadership of TPUSA. As a result of that, I often do look at the current leadership of TPUSA. I think in the next few days, for example, we're going to take a close look at somewhere Blake Neff worked before coming to work to TPUSA. He got fired from the Charlie Kirk show. From the Tucker Carlson show in July of 2020. And he starts with TPUSA in the summer of 2022, there's a 2-year gap there, and there's no explanation for where he was. I long wondered, where was he during this 2-year gap? I got a tip. Now I know where he was. I'm curious if he'll admit it before I do the show. It would probably take the sting out of it if he would admit it. Probably not going to. But it's always better if you announce it first, Blake. It's always better if you announce it first. If you come out and say, hey, here's what I was doing. I was hard up for money. This is the only job I could find. I know it totally disagrees with the values of TPUSA now. I know it totally disagreed with the values of TPUSA when I joined them. I know it's more consistent with auto admit Charles XII than it is with TPUSA. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I'm not ready to talk about it tonight. But I think I'm pretty confident I know where he was working. I know what he was doing. It was contract work. It was in production. It was writing scripts and things just like he's doing now, just like he was doing for Tucker. So it's been consistent. But it was for a different creator. It wasn't TPUSA and it wasn't Tucker Carlson. There was a stop in between the two. I think he should come out with it. I think Blake should announce it. It wasn't Grindr. Stop it. You guys in the comments crack me up. It was not Grindr. It was not Grindr. I haven't ruled it out. I mean, I know Grindr crashes every time TPUSA has an event, but I'm concerned because the attacks against Candace, the attacks against your humble host, the attacks against others who are trying to figure out who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why, are that we're grifting off of Charlie Kirk. That we're grifting off of his death. They're literally buying ads off of his death. They're spending tens of thousands, almost 6 figures worth of money to sell the T-shirt he died in. Like that's what they're spending their money on. That's what they're spending money grifting off of his death. I'm frankly shocked, and I don't know. I've not ruled it out. I'm frankly shocked that they did not spend money advertising her draped over him in the coffin. I haven't looked at every ad. It may be in there. I'll have to scan more. I mean, they buy so many ads that you have to look. But I'm frankly surprised I didn't come across one yet. Because they did run ads on that young man. I forgive him. You're not supposed to be talking about the guilt of the defendant, but you're running ads on it. You're not supposed to be talking about it. It's one thing to say it. I mean, okay, you forgive him. Great. But to like spend tens of thousands of dollars to make sure everybody sees that you forgive him or whatever you spend on it. It's a little weird. And I find this remarkably similar to the Russian troll farm deal. You spend a little money on Facebook ads and you gin up a conversation, and then all your bots, all your people back home can come in. And what Russia would do is they would spend a little money on a Facebook ad. It would run, and then they would have their bots come in and do all the commenting and really get it all going and lathered up, and they would start attacking in the comments and all that. They would send their people out into the pro comments on the other side, and they would attack to gin up this controversy, to attack, to be negative. And that's what they're doing. There's a reason I opened with the Clocktower X spend. $46.5 million on digital advertising from our greatest ally? What if Russia was spending $46.5 million advertising? We freaked out when they spent $25,000. Russia spent $25,000 and we had a total meltdown. Like, we changed laws. We banned people from social media. We deleted accounts. $46.5 million? You know how many times 25 that is? A lot. I don't want to do the math right now. 40 for every million. 40 times 40 is 1,600 times that much money on digital advertising. And we have no problem with it. We're just going to be, oh, yeah, we're good. $25,000 from Russia. We shut down social media accounts. We stopped the presses. 46.5 million from our greatest ally. And everybody's like, yeah, that's great. That's great. Before Charlie Kirk dies, they run an active ad saying, Mr. President, a president cannot start a war in Iran without congressional approval. After Charlie Kirk dies, they run a whole series of anti-Muslim ads right before the war in Iran kicks off, just to make sure everybody gets all lathered up. That's exactly what they were doing at the Russian troll farm. They were going after people and getting them all lathered up. So I don't know. I will spend some additional time looking through that tool to see whether they promoted the coffin video. I hope they did not. But it was there, and they at least posted it on social media, which is creepy enough. I will tell you right now, if any of you has a spouse who dies, this goes for my friends, family, people I support, people I follow on social media. If any of you has a spouse who dies, and you're having a particularly intimate moment in the coffin with the corpse, and you're crying on the corpse and kissing it, and you allow someone to record it and then post it to your social media, I will never talk to you again. Like, I will be done with you. I will not follow you on anything. I will think you are one of the worst human beings I've ever encountered. I will have nothing to do with you. I will think you're manipulative, shameless, morbid, disgusting. I mean, I can't come up with enough words for it. If you allow someone to record it and then post it to social media, I'm talking like in the coffin. You're in the coffin. I'm not talking about, it's weird enough that you're crying in the corner or whatever, but if you're on the stiff, crying, petting, I'm not gonna be around for it. I'm not gonna be around for it. It'd be the last time I ever look at anything you do on social media. I'll block you. I'll have to block you. I have to block you. Likewise, and I say this very seriously, if someone kills a family member, yours or your spouse, and you forgive them, that's great. I hope you do, because forgiveness is essential for the soul. Even if you think it's someone, it turns out it's not them. You can never over-forgive, in my opinion. But if you clip it out and boost it and pay for it, pay for advertising of you forgiving that person, I'm going to block you. I'm going to be done with you. I'll never talk to you again. I won't answer your calls. I'll block you on my cell phone, social media. We're done. We are no longer on good terms at that point. No longer on good terms. I have never paid for an advertisement for this show. I've never advertised a podcast. I've never boosted anything. Like when you post to X, it says, would you like to boost this? No. I didn't even post today. I didn't even post on X today. I was doing the show. Usually I post an hour or two ahead of time. I got busy and didn't do it. I didn't get busy. I took a shower. Forgot. After I put the stream up, I forgot. But a lot of times when I post I'm having the show, it'll say, would you like to boost this? Well, no, I don't want to boost it. Like, people will watch it or they won't watch it. I don't care. I hope you watch it. I enjoy it. I enjoy the interaction with the audience. I think it's a great community. Come in. We celebrate successes. We pray for each other. We grieve when people are struggling. One night, about 3 months ago, we had 2 different women the same day lost a husband. They were both widowed the same day. It was an emotional end to the show. One of them, a couple of days ago, checked back in and said, hey, it's been 90 days since that happened. Still grieving every day. Like, that's what we do here. That's what we do. We pray for each other. We celebrate successes. People check in and say, hey, I went to church for the first time in 30 years. Someone the other day checked in and said, I went to church for the first time ever. Great. That's what we're here for. We want everybody to be better versions of themselves. We're not competing with each other. We don't try to tear each other down. We're trying to lift each other up, trying to be better people. People want to be a part of this community. They'll watch the show. They'll come in for the lives. They'll watch a replay. They don't. I don't care. I'm not going to pay to reach them. Never paid. I think the fact that they're having to spend that much money promoting Erika as CEO tells me that TPUSA is desperate right now, desperately failing. That they're aware, as we all are, that she's been a disaster. They're aware, as we all are, that TPUSA is a shell of itself. It might be flush with cash. It might have more money than it's ever had. Donations might be higher than they've ever been because of how well they played off that grift of his death, how much advertising they spent. I mean, donations, they may be Scrooge McDucking there in Phoenix. Erika may be swimming through gold to get to her office, you know. I don't know. But they're having to pay to support her. And even when they pay, people don't show up when she's going to be there. They just don't. And so she cancels. It's sad to me because Charlie literally gave his life to build the organization and take it in the direction he personally believed in. Like, Charlie spent about 4 years, give or take, walking down a very narrow path towards our greatest ally. That's basically the whole organization was turned over to our greatest ally. All efforts went to that. It's all they spoke about. It became like half of all the questions that were asked at TPUSA in-person events were about our greatest ally. And he finally realized, wait a minute, I don't like what's going on over there. He started speaking out about it. Just a week or so after October 7th, 2023, he said, I think they're going to ethnically cleanse Gaza. His words, not mine. Don't ding me. That's what he said on the Patrick Bet-David podcast. I think they're going to, he was like, I need to be careful how I say this. Well, I think they're going to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Like, this was a week into it. It indicates to me he'd heard that was the plan. And now we look and we say, okay, kind of looks like that, right? Kind of looks like what's happened. Then we learn that he died after reminding people time and time again that he might die, that he thought he was going to die, that he thought people were out to kill him. And then he dies and they go and they start promoting the Iran war. Not just in what they say, advertising. They advertise to promote it. They advertised anti-Muslim sentiment to build up the conditions for the Iraq war. What a weird thing to advertise. For a nonprofit that's dedicated to free market economics, what a weird advertising campaign. And whether it's anti-Hindu, anti-Muslim, anti-Buddhist, anti-Mormon, anti-Catholic, anti-Baptist, what a weird thing. Think about it. What a weird subject to run an advertising campaign on for Turning Point USA, whose charter says we are a non-partisan free market economic outfit. That's all we want to talk about is free market economics. And they run an ad campaign weeks before the Iran war kicks off, denigrating Muslims. 2 billion people around the world. Whatever your thoughts are, it's a weird advertising campaign. It's a very weird advertising campaign. And it would be just as weird if it was anti-Hindu. It would be just as weird if it was anti-Mormon. It would be just as weird if it was anti-Presbyterian. It would be just as weird if it was anti-Catholic, anti-Jewish. It would be just as weird. You would look and say, what does this have to do with free market economics? Why are we running this ad campaign? The only plausible explanation is that they were trying to condition their followers, young people, to dislike a people group so that we could bomb them into oblivion. That is precisely what Charlie Kirk was pushing back again, and it is precisely why he's dead. Again, who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why? The why is becoming increasingly obvious. increasingly obvious. With the why comes the who. Because if that's why he died, and I'm beginning to be nearly 100% convinced that's why he died, if that's why he died, all you got to do is look around and say, well, who would be motivated by that why? Only a few different groups of people. And they often work together. And if I'm right about the who, the why, and that leads us to the who, we may never know the how. Because these powerful interests that wanted to remove him have really weird ways to kill you. I mean, we're talking about people that get hit with sound waves that make them burn through their house, through their apartment, through their condo, through their hotel. We're talking about people who get poisoned, people that they're wearing an electronic device that overheats and explodes by design, or might even have an explosive charge in it that blows up by design when they're just walking through their house. And maybe they're wearing it on their hip and their 2-year-old is walking right next to them and it takes his head off. Well, hate it for you. I mean, that's their attitude. And these people, I know it's hard to believe because we all knew Charlie Kirk. We were all aware of his name, and he was in some respect a national treasure. But it's so it's hard for us to fathom. But these people who will slaughter, I mean, literally slaughter millions of people on a whim, these people who will roll tanks through neighborhoods, light whole communities on fire, wire buildings to explode, pull the charge and they all just collapse, who will target civilians. These people, like Madeleine Albright, who once said, 1 million dead kids was worth it for what was going on overseas. Do you think they're worried about one guy named Chuck? Charlie? Charlie, what's the difference between Charlie and like Muhammad? Not much. Both human beings, both made in the image and likeness of God, both loved deeply by God. What's one more dead person? What's one more dead person? And so if I'm right about the why, and the why leads us to the who, and we know those who's have some really wild ways, the hows, the really wild hows these guys can do to pull off, I'm not sure we'll ever figure out the how. We can look at the hand. We can look at, was he electrocuted? Did his microphone explode? Did he have something in his necklace? They seemed pretty fixated on the necklace. Was there something associated with some kind of a phone involved? They were really weirded out about the phones and all that. But that advertising campaign really depressed me today as we were looking at it. Really, really, really depressed me. Because what it revealed was a truly disgusting group of human beings who have no issue whatsoever slaughtering people. Who have no issue whatsoever being hypocrites, who have no issue whatsoever taking over an organization from a man and then doing absolutely the opposite of everything he was intending in that moment. The most damning ad was where he was telling the president, you do not have the authority to start a war with Iran. That is so damning. I had a clip of Erika I wanted to play tonight. I'm not going to play it. I'll play it tomorrow. I don't have it in me. It's too depressing. It's too depressing. Because the consequences are too overwhelmingly dark. And I just don't want to think about it right now. That was dark enough. So I don't ever want to hear it from you people ever again about grifting off of a dead person. I've never paid for advertising to sell merch that a guy died in. Never once. And so don't you ever say that again to anyone. You've lost the right. You've lost the right to say that again. And don't act like you people that all work there like motivated by ideology. Blake, when I tell people where you work, you might as well get out in front of that. Because when I tell people who you were working for, doing some contract writing for a creator, it's not going to look good for you, buddy. I don't even know if the TPUSA people are aware of it, but it's not going to go well. It's not going to go well. If you've liked the video, give it a like. If not, sit by and don't like it, whatever. I will assume if you don't click the like button, you didn't like the video. That's just me. That's just me. I don't want to be that way. I hate being that way, but that's the way I'm going to be. That's the way I'm going to be. Where are we on likes? We've done a pretty good job on likes, though. I'm pretty proud of you guys. Pretty proud of you guys. All right, let me roll through some of your comments and celebrate some victories. Sometimes I wonder if Trump photogs had their food handlers permit when they were serving at McDonald's during the 24 campaign. Doubted elites. Tisk. I don't even know what any of that means. I don't know what that means. Are you talking about where he was handing out fries? Is that what you're talking about? Attention, Nurse Casey. May we please have a long sleeve t-shirt? Grateful for you all. We do have some long sleeve t-shirts because I own one. I own a black RBP long sleeve t-shirt, but maybe there's a particular one. We'll have Nurse Casey look into it. OMG, I simply can't wait. Bears back. My guess is red. Nope, wrong. Vatican City ceiling blue. Loyal quiet watcher from 300 subs. You've been around a long time. Not the widow. The widow. Incoming gloat. I just bought an Adidas Essentials hoodie on sale, $4.97 at Costco. Does Hibbs claim about who called first put holes in Mikey's timeline? That's a great question. So first, congrats on the good buy from Costco. I actually picked up 2 of those hoodies for myself while they were at Costco. I paid $14. You got a good steal at $5. And I bought one for my son who was with me that day because what am I telling him he can't have one if I'm buying them? So I had to buy him one too. To your second point, does Hibbs claim about who called first put holes in Mikey's timeline? No, but it makes him a liar. Jack Hibbs, certified liar. Here's why. The day after September 10th, the day after Charlie Kirk died, Jack Hibbs gave an interview, I think to Fox News. Can't remember where I found the interview. But Jack Hibbs gave an interview where he said his brother, Butch, called him while the panic and chaos was still going on to tell him Charlie had passed away or it had been taken down. When he did that interview, when Jack Hibbs did that interview with Frank Turek recently that we watched, he said he didn't know about it until he got a call from Mikey after the hospital. And then Frank called him after they got to the hospital. And he said he was surprised when Mikey called him. So it makes him out to be a liar. I don't think he forgot about that call from Butch. I think he's trying to establish a new timeline because they're all liars and we're trying to figure out who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why, and they're altering the evidence after the fact. In my opinion, allegedly. Kingly one, Edge. Is it too complicated to tell us the state with the highest subs? I know you're big in the Balkans, but what about in the U.S.? Just curious. I don't know about subs, but without a doubt, every episode, my 2 highest markets are New York and then L.A. Every single time. And I think it's just population. But the 2 cities that are the highest, it's not even close, New York and Los Angeles. Phoenix is 4th. I think Chicago might be 3rd. But I mean, it's just the bigger cities. They're bigger cities. So I would guess the subs kind of follow the same pattern, if I had to guess. EK, AK, and BN are manipulative, soulless, and vacuous grifters and capable of creating meaningful and engaging content on their own. Yeah, it's why they've run the podcast down to 0. That's why they have to advertise tens of thousands of dollars for Erika to show up somewhere, $70,000 for her to show up at the University of Georgia, and no one shows up. Who wants to watch her do that weird eye routine? I mean, who wants to show up and watch that? Don't forget to like and subscribe to your humble host. Dre did an amazing job yesterday. I watched a good chunk of that. Admittedly, I didn't watch it all. I had to go to the ballpark and watch 2 of my kids play baseball. But 3 of my kids play baseball. and they all three played on the same team yesterday. But admittedly, what I saw was remarkably good. Remarkably good. She did a great job. Became a grandma yesterday. I'm already madly in love with him. Christ is king indeed. I tried to warn you. It's life-changing. Life-changing. I saw my little bundle of goodness today. Today. Thoughts, if Tucker has any kind of NDA, could he have asked Jimmy Dore to go Max? What NDA would Tucker have that would stop him from talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination? That's what I don't understand. That's what I don't understand. So I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer. Washington refugee to Texas. Keelan, Washington equals Shulan. Shulan. Number one fan in College Station. That's ridiculous that spelling is not Keelan or Cheelan or Chalin or something. That's weird. I'll allow it. But she's a widow. Gosh, that's hurting my throat. I'm not going to be able to speak tomorrow. I don't know how Dana Lash does it. She went and got ChatGPT to pull a bunch of widow clips or widow scriptures. Told y'all it'd be Neffin Blakey Poo Blue today. Well, somebody had to be right. Somebody had to be. I sent you a little gift to your email. Subject, gift from your number one fan in Finland. Thank you. We're going to need a deep dive on Croakzilla, a.k.a. Dana Lash. She has a dark aura about her. Mocking someone's pronunciation while your own face hasn't moved since 2017 is comical. Yeah. She was a thing back in the day. Like she had a following. She was well known. Like back in the blog days, really. I honestly forgot she existed until like a month ago. I don't know where they got her. They dug her out of wherever she was. Shot her up full of Botox. Like her eyebrows, she gets so angry. She's like, "Can you believe it?" I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't look like your voice doesn't match your face." I am so mad right now. The widow. Dana, you feeling all right, girl? Everything good in there? Notice how my face moves with my mood. Happy, Dana? Is it happy? Angry, Dana. Pleased? I'm pleased. I don't know why people do that to themselves. My cousin Coleman. Thank you, Tara. Cousin Tara, and checking in. My papa says he wishes I wasn't in the Candace cult. And I laughed and said, "Nah, I'm in the Coleman cult." That confused him. Oh, good. He deserves to be confused. Oh, I kid. But thank you. Humble Host is definitely high IQ. Candace said she doesn't call, but the grand jury remembers when you took her call and told us to please hold. Here since the slogan hat days. Thank you for all you do. Yeah, I was a little surprised when she said she didn't call. I'm like, are you sure about that? Yeah. I'm willing to allow it. 5 months. Signed up the first day, and I also support Baron by subscribing on X. Yeah, I may not super chat very often, but I do show love on the regular. You, sir, are the best. Blessings. Thank you, Janice. Very kind of you. I subscribe to a lot of channels that I don't always get to enjoy the member content or interact all that much, but I like them as creators. I like them as people, and I want to support them. And I know if I chuck them $10 a month, then they'll be able to afford to do with it. Not me alone, but if me and 1,000 other people do, they'll be able to afford to do what they do, right? Pay the bills, hire somebody, do some research, put the time in, quit their job. And so I'm happy to crowdsource such investigations. But thank you. Tradition is not the worship of ashes, but the preservation of fire. Igre natura renovator integra. Through fire, nature is reborn whole. I believe you. Hold on. Let me go back to that just a second. Tradition is not the worship of ashes, but the preservation of fire. Baron, could Candace leak the Charlie Kirk Aspen video to another person without being liable? Maybe a ghost journalist could drop it. Then TP can comment. Yeah, I mean, they could. Except she's kind of already admitted she has it. So everyone would know where it came from. I don't know, man. I think TPUSA's cooked on this. I really do. It's clear they don't have it. It's clear that's not what it says. Not in context, maybe not at all. And I don't know how to get out of it. Like, this may be a hole they can't get out of. It's just clear it doesn't say it. Because they've made up their mind. They are not going to release it. They're not said, we'll think about it. Maybe, let's. No, their current position is. We're using Charlie Kirk's dead body to troll Candace. That's their position. That's the hill they're dying on, is that they're using his corpse as a joke. And the people who were there are saying it didn't happen. They're saying it didn't happen. And I don't think the video supports that it happened. So when did it happen? When did it happen? And the fact that they're saying essentially we are not going to release this video. And the fact that what they released, the word job didn't even finish. I think Erika will do a good job. You can't even give us the B? You can't even give us the B? There's no reason to cut off the word job unless the B also sounds screwed up in AI. I'm telling you. I think they're cooked. And keep in mind, when you are a nonprofit operating on a federal tax break and you're raising money fraudulently, that's criminal. I mean, SPLC is facing criminal charges right now for that very thing. That very thing. Frank said he and Charlie Kirk watched laps on Charlie Kirk's roof on 9/8. The only good reason I can think of is that Charlie was carrying a baby monitor, i.e., Erika not home. Let me do a quick look-see here. Let's see, I know where he lives. Let me just look at the area. Let me see if that even makes sense. Let me scroll into the home here. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to do that. Show you guys where it is, but yeah, I guess you can walk laps up there. I don't know, man. Whole thing is weird to me. Whole thing is just weird to me. I don't know why they were on the roof. Charlie Kirk list on left, men value on right, women value. Maybe Charlie Kirk wrote below what he values now that marriage is over. I left kids number one, and what EK values on right. Lori is written under EK's fingers. Oh, I didn't realize that. Is that what's written under there? Now I will say this: where he said kids number one, I thought of this the other day and I didn't say it. I don't know why I didn't say it. You remember when we were doing that montage? Maybe in 2 shows ago, or maybe in 2 days ago when we did our last show together. We did the montage of Charlie saying women shouldn't work if they don't have to. And he was saying that you prioritize your spouse because that is a covenantal relationship. And the kids come out of that. So they're like I don't remember if he said they're like a trust or something, but you if you're married and you have kids, the kids have come out of that marriage. So the marriage is the covenant, and the kids are an outgrowth of that covenant. And he used that to say the spouse is number one. So if he's writing a list and it says kids number one, that is totally inconsistent. And his marriage is fine and he's expecting it to continue. That is totally inconsistent with what he said in that appearance just a few months before he died. So I don't know, man. Or maybe a year before he died. I think it was the year before he died. Let me see if I can find that note. Did it say Lori under there? There was a good video of it, but someone put their freaking face in front of it. You know, they're doing one of those things where they're like, what? I don't understand this content. Maybe I'm old, but someone will play a video and they just sit there on the screen like this. and you got to like watch the action around their head. They don't even like do anything. I don't understand that. That's not my kind of content. Like if you're pointing stuff out, you're like, check this out. Like Ian made a living off of that. Check this out. And then look over here and then check out over here. And then what do you think over here? Like that's cool content. You just staring at me while I watch something. And I'm like, will you move your head? I can't. Does it say Lori? I can't see behind. I went to Russia in 1992. I was 17. Nicest people you'd ever meet. Anti-Russia propaganda never worked on me. Christ is king indeed. Well, where are people mean? That's what I don't understand. New York? I kid, New York. I kid. Claiming number one fan, Massachusetts. Quincy, Massachusetts. Named after John Quincy Adams. Arizona courts remanded Boyer's electric case on June 4. Arizona AG is going back to the grand jury with it. Could she expand the grand jury case as a tool to investigate TPUSA fraud and Kirk's assassination? Is it likely? Well, she wouldn't have to. I mean, the attorney general can investigate anything they want. They don't have to expand an existing case. So I would think it's highly unlikely. And no. But Baron, I may have some Kennedy bumper stickers, meaning my brother grabbed posters and bumper stickers. I'll look, and if I do have some, I'll send them and some surprises. I'm loving it. If you do, I will be very, very thankful. I can't thank you enough for what you've already sent. My poster is currently at the framers right now, and I took it to a high-end framer. So they do a really good job. They knew how to preserve important historical documents, and they recommended a particular type of cover over it so that if it ever broke, it wouldn't damage the poster itself. And then they recommended a certain type of frame around it so that if it has like when you put historical documents and things, the frames have like shock absorption so that if it falls, it doesn't damage the document. So I took it to a high-end framer is what I'm trying to say, Colin. Taking care of your stuff. Very excited about it. But thank you. I've been in first chat, wondering how TPUSA gets away with tampering with crime scene. It was viewed on TV by millions. I guess we're all kind of wondering the same thing. Hi, Baron. Our son graduated from high school last weekend, and the commencement speaker's speech was all about the Artemis II mission. My wife and I laughed throughout the entire speech. So would I. That was fake. Why didn't you put a GoPro in the window and let us see the whole thing? Why didn't you show us all the cool stuff you're talking about? I mean, it's fake. Fake and gay. The most underreported space mission of all time. This space mission around the moon, supposedly doing what no human had done in 54 years, and it didn't even make the news hardly. They're like, another news, a rocket got launched. Back to you for the murder on 3rd and Spring Street, Dave. Hi, Baron, just got back from Auburn for the Argentina game. Never knew the history of War Eagle, but a nice alum told us. Being from Indiana, hope my kids would go to IU or Notre Dame, but Auburn and its students were lovely. 2 crazy boys and 1 crazy dog. Auburn's amazing. I had a great time living there. Even worked there for a year or so here, not terribly long ago. Yeah, Auburn's great. The stadium's great. I watched some of the clips of the Argentina game and the crowd leading up to it. I followed some people on Twitter who were there from out of the country. A Frenchman and a German were both on Twitter, kind of tweet updating their visit to Auburn, and they couldn't believe it. And when he stopped by Buc-ee's at 2 a.m., I knew he was in trouble. Like, this guy's from Germany. Get out of Buc-ee's. Like, you don't want to be there at 2 a.m. Like, go home. They were fascinated with Waffle House, too, by the way. A lot of us are. Adoption costs $40,000 and somehow nefarious. Can't figure out why they don't pay you to take the baby. Married 10 years, 1 in 12 kids, too many cats instead. Probably supply and demand. And those adoption agencies hire a lot of people, and there's some vetting that needs to be done and all that. But I'll say this. I worked in the court system. I mean, as a lawyer, I was appointed cases with kids who were in really tough situations in life. And I think the adoptions of those kids is basically free. You don't have to pay $40,000. That's only if you want like a white kid. I mean, take what you can get. You know, you'll there are a lot of kids ready for adoption, and some of them can be adopted for nothing out of the welfare system. So, Grandpa Barron says no TikTok. Well, I don't do TikTok. But not because of anything weird. It's like one more platform, and I don't want to learn another platform. Take time to build up followers, build up a list. That's for other people. Check your text because it won't let me send the super chat here. Okay. Okay. Got you. Speaking of social media psyops, check out Eris Labs right now. Go through Oracle's June 4 blog and then Google where their headquarters is. I know where Eris Labs headquarters is, but I haven't checked out Oracle's June. Isn't it in our greatest ally, Eris Labs? Eris Labs headquarters. Oh, it's in Washington, D.C.? Oh, no, it's in Tel Aviv. I don't know what's in their on their blog. We'll find out though. Actually, we won't find out because I don't know how to get to the Oracle blog. That's for you. That's for you, Dre. But yeah, I thought it was overseas. Thank you. Number one Russian fan here in Camp Verde, Arizona. Verde. Been catching up and came across your response to Lonely Zebra in episode 19. I will admit I have no idea what I said, so if it's embarrassing, don't tell anyone. Made me curious to hear your answer on this. Why do you think God made humans and angels? And how ethical is that decision? Not selfish, etc. Interesting. I know there's a trite answer. Hold on. We are created to know, love, and serve God so we may have eternal joy with him. I mean, so to me, the simple answer is, and I don't know that this is official Catholic teaching, but I think it flows out of it. I truly believe God is so good that there's this deep desire to create. And to create something that can recognize the goodness and that can love the goodness. It's not a one-way love. And think of it this way. Let's say, I mean, there are a lot of people who, for whatever reason, and this is going to be hard truth for some people, and I'm sorry if it hurts. There's some people who don't want to be with anyone. Like they want to be alone. They don't want to be with anyone. They're hurt. They're hurting. Something has hurt those people. Man's not made to be alone. Man meaning human. But picture someone who had like the perfect upbringing, like the picture perfect upbringing. That person doesn't want to be alone. That person wants to love, wants to share that love. Why is God any different? Like we're made in the image and likeness of God. If we have this deep desire for community and love, why would God not have this deep desire for community and love? So he creates. That's kind of my thought. And again, I don't know that that's official Catholic teaching, but I think it flows from it. First super chat from Spartanburg County, South Carolina. Just to let you know, I did not vote for the bubble wand guy. God bless. Go Braves. Go Braves indeed. Tough loss last night. Wow. It was funny is right before that pitch, I told my kids, I was like, he needs to keep the ball down. Because he had the guy 0-2, and I said he needs to keep the ball down. And my one son, he's brilliant, but he said, well, why not try to get one up in the zone and get it by him? I said, well, a lot of times that is a strike, but when it's not a strike, it's a home run. Like you get the ball up in the zone and somebody gets wood on it, it's gone. And then he struck that guy out down in the zone, so he got 2 outs. I said, "Told you, stay down in the zone." I said, "Throw a little sinker or something. You know, get that thing down, going down, and get out of this game." Oh, no, actually, he grounded him out. Moved the run over to third. Next batter, man, he leaves the ball up in the zone. Into the game. 2-run home run. Braves lose by 1. Walk off. It was a hard loss. I think he made a mistake. I don't think he was trying to throw it up. Hey, Granddad, I'm really old. I took care of 2 great-granddaughters today. Exhausted, but very happy. Incredible love. And remember, Jesus loves you. You're saying they're good granddaughters, like excellent granddaughters, using the superlative great or using generational great? Because 2 great-granddaughters, and you're taking care of them, Granny Pam. That's fantastic. What a legacy. Baron for Super, I'm a former Smirconish listener. He's a big talk radio guy, too. He once had Brian Rosenwald on to discuss Talk Radio's America. Great book on the history of talk radio. Thought you might enjoy it. Christ is King, indeed. I would like that, actually. I don't agree with Smirconish on a lot. Not on everything. But I think he's talented. Meatloaf fan fave in the Compton house. Cheers. Oh, Mr. Com, you must have had meatloaf tonight. Good evening from Dothan, Alabama. The Circle City? I've been to Dothan. I'll tell you a quick story about it in a second. I've heard you drop lyrics from Master P, Scarface, and Outkast. Never would have guessed you're an old school rap fan, but I'm here for it. War Eagle. Yeah. I also dropped some Tupac lyrics a couple weeks ago. You missed that. It happens. Well, I can go farther than that and deeper than that. But anyway, about Dothan. So my wife and I, we had kind of our song, right? Islands in the Stream. Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers. Islands in the stream. That is what we are. Well, we were making a move very early on in our marriage, and we weren't sure if it was the right thing to do. And we stopped at a Ruby Tuesday in Dothan, Alabama, right there on is it the Ross Clark Circle? Right there in Dothan. We pull off into that Ruby Tuesday. We're sitting there. We're doing the right thing. Should we be moving? You know, should we go back? Like everything we owned was in the car. That's how young that's how no kids and very early in marriage, you could fit everything in a Nissan Altima. And we did. 97 Altima, packed to the gills. And then that song came on in the Ruby Tuesday. And my wife started boo-hooing, and it was a very sentimental moment. So I'll never forget old Dothan from Ross Clark Circle. A great memory. Great memory. War Eagle indeed. If my kiddos are sick and we sleep in their bedroom, if my kiddos are sick, we sleep in their bedroom or spare room. Charlie Kirk, having to be the one to move on his last night, makes me wonder if there was trouble in paradise. Yeah. Illogical comments by these trolls. I post something legit, not mean, and they say if she's a lawyer, I'm Mother Teresa, or they link my Instagram. Yeah, they're horrible people. I mean, horrible people. Yeah, I've dealt with some of the worst people the last few weeks I've ever encountered. Hey, B, seems like God has been preparing you for this, podcasting, investigating your whole life. I made that point before. I agree with you. What is something you've learned since being in this space? If too broad, maybe one tough lesson, one pleasant lesson. Love you. Love you too, Kim. One tough lesson, one positive lesson. Pleasant lesson. So one thing I've learned is that it's the same as any other job. Meaning, you have to put in the work. And if you put in the work and you meet other people doing the same thing, then you have a shared community, a shared bond. So I've met a lot of really good people in this space. We mentioned Candace earlier, but not just Candace. I talk to a lot of podcasters regularly. Trigger Smart, Danks, Bays, Jesse on Fire, Valhalla, Mr. Let Go, Dom from I Don't Give a Dom, Dre from the Dre dossier. Like we talk a lot. We don't really talk even about work. Sometimes it's just checking in, like making sure people are all right, seeing how they're doing, sharing a joke, sharing a meme. Not really a work conversation most of the time. It could be about anything. And so that's the one thing I've learned that I think is pleasant is people are people. And if you are an orthopedic surgeon and you run into other orthopedic surgeons, you have a common bond. You know what it's like. You know what it's like to cut someone's leg open and have to do carpentry on their shin, right? A tough lesson is that there are a whole lot of people who are anonymous and have no skin in the game. None. And that they will say some of the most diabolical things you can imagine. And I am not a fan of removing anonymity from social media, but I do think in the instances that each social media place should have some sort of this person defamed me, here's a clearly fake thing, and you submit the documentation that's not true, and they'll tell you who it is. I do think that. Because it would hold people accountable. I've been your number one fan from the big town of Cowpens, plural, more than one cowpen in South Carolina. Since October, in Cowpens, South Carolina, since October. Love your crash outs and laughter. Keep speaking truth, and I will keep listening. God bless you and your family. Christ is King indeed. If you'll keep listening, I'll keep talking. And Birdie, dude, the Ghetto Boys reference. Yeah, I had a Ghetto's Boy reference too. Had me off the couch and crip walking to the fridge. Not really. I'm white and 53 with a bad back, but my mind, I crushed it. Awesome. Love the show and all you do. Many thanks from North Carolina. God bless you and your family. Yeah, I have what's funny is my kids are playing ball at I'm not going to tell you where they're playing ball, but they're playing ball at a park tonight. And I don't think my family's watching, so I can tell this story because they're watching a ball game. So it's a park where my high school girlfriend and I used to meet. It was kind of halfway between our houses. She lived other side of Nashville. And so we had to kind of meet in the middle. And we would meet there quite frequently. And so I have a lot of memories from there. Not like meet to do bad things or whatever, but just like meet up and chat, catch up, whatever. And I remember her sitting in my car one day and she's like, you have a very eclectic sense of music. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I was in yesterday. We were listening to Wu-Tang. Today is Fish. I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. And tomorrow will be John Anderson. So buckle up. We're gonna get a little twangy. Yeah, I got an eclectic taste in music. There's no doubt about it. From Muskegon, Michigan. First ever super chat for anyone. Had to get in on the fan location stuff. Also love Ian, Dre, and Candace. Well, everybody loves Ian, Dre, and Candace. You sound like you're into good research. Boise Jet Guy. In Hollywood, you fail upwards. I wonder, since AK is co-hosting the CK show with his own channel, will he try fall upwards into Pascal's arms? Yeah. He's always trying to fail upwards. Yesterday, Dana's hubby reposted me saying I wasn't American because of a typo. Angry. I'm not insecure about typos. My intelligence. Argue better, sir. So Dana's husband has been like in my comments attacking me. And I'm like, let her do her own battles. Like, she's the pro. She's the public figure. Let her fight. If she wants to fight, fine. But you can stay out of it. Will it be obvious when it's the explosive? Will it be obvious when it's the explosive news show once you get the documents? Did I miss it? So excited for it. No, you're waiting on people. No. When Daisy tells me we have them, we'll have them. We were promised them weeks ago. We were told they were hours away weeks ago. Then we were said tomorrow. They don't want to give us the documents, but they by law have to. And at a certain point, you have to file a lawsuit to get them. That's what Freedom Watch did with the Thomas, what's his name? Thomas Matthew Crooks document. So at a certain point, you have to file a lawsuit. But I wish they would just give them. Like, by law, we own those as Americans. I'm going to have to go back and watch. I'm busy playing with my 10-week-old and not paying attention. Not high Q enough to do both. Well, that's more important, redheaded mama. you have an opportunity to play with a 10-week old, they're only gonna be 10 weeks old for 1 week. So, her saying in the first place was gross. He hasn't been convicted. You must be talking truth. Truth does good work on X. You must be talking truth about Erika saying that young man, I forgive him. Hi, Baron. Do you remember which show it was that you were talking about a little about Mitt Romney? I can't find it. Christ is king indeed. No. Let me see if I can find it real fast for you. Shouldn't take but a second. Comes up incidentally or in passing. No, I don't see it. No, I'm sorry, I don't. You might try like an LLM search engine and tell it to give you a link. Scan my YouTube transcripts and see if, link to every episode that mentions Mitt Romney, and maybe it'll produce some answers. I don't know. Ooh, did she have to say he built it with his blood? Yeah, she did, didn't she? I didn't catch that. Let's pray for the step down. Let's pray for the widow to step down. Wow, dog knows. You're doing it twice. Hello from Baby. Baby in Cincinnati? I guess you're popular here. Tell me more about that beautiful church you visited here. We love our churches. What part of town? I want to know if it was where I got married, St. Francis de Sales. We talked about that a bit in the comments the other day. It's up on a hill, way up on a hill to the east of town, pretty close to the interstate. It is on... I don't know. I hope you know Cincinnati well enough that helped you. Just off of downtown. I don't see it right now on top of my head. I'm looking for it. But I mean, it's just to the east, right off of maybe 50 or 52, something like that. It's a Catholic church way up on a hill. I can't find it. Sorry. I tried. I did find it the other day. If you go back and if you can't find it, go back and watch that episode. How much did TPUSA pay to put a casket clip out? Well, we couldn't find one yet. Edge. 1 Timothy 5:5-6. She who is truly a widow, left all alone, has set her hope on God and continues in supplications and prayers night and day. But she who is self-indulgent is dead even while she lives. Except she does running when she's uncomfortable. Hope she runs far. Noted. The moment Erika meets a little resistance, she takes her ball and wants to go home. Nothing she says is genuine, and she seems so fake. She is single-handedly destroying Charlie's legacy. Christ is king. Yeah. Candace made that point deftly today. I'm running towards what other people are running away from. Lies, deception, sin. Thank you. Thank you. This is awesome, Baron. Well, thank you, Carly. Your comment was awesome. For those not on X, I posted this yesterday. EK filed trademarks on CK's name and signatures 3 weeks after passing. This makes me believe TPUSA had to license those from EK, which is why they can't kick her. Maybe. I don't know why you'd need a signature. But paying to promote anything around an organization or a husband's murder is disgusting. Yep. EK is as holy as... Really? Have you seen the TPUSA staffer interview on the Black Line Brief? It has a lot of names and interesting information. I have not. Didn't EK running toward Combo about being a protector? She ran away from that conversation. She didn't run toward it. Prigozhin is Jewish head of Wagner, our version of your BlackRock. Criminal PMC, responsible also for murdering most heroes during Russian Spring. Oh, really? Well, that's not ideal. Does Erika ever answer the question she's asked? So many words, so little substance. The ramblings of my 3-year-old niece make more sense. No, she has a bad habit of not answering the question. It makes me question her intellect. Everybody acts like she's brilliant. I'm like, how much they put on the curtain vid? I don't know. I didn't see that one in there either. Hopefully nothing. EK preaching the good word with a gold ring on every finger, demanding donations from all. That is what gives Jesus a bad name. Christ is king. Love you, my B. Yeah. Agreed. I mean, I agree with every bit of it. Clip it. Pay to promote the clip. Oh, and don't forget to plug the book for good measure. It's laughable, by the way, your expression when you saw Gary's post. I can't redo it. Do you think DJT's answer about heaven would be different pre-president? Yeah. I mean, he acted like it was different pre-president. The widow twirled in lace curtain frills, checked her bank balance, and gave herself chills. Clipped in 3 pounds of synthetic blonde hair and flaunted her Gucci bag without a care. The end. Next. Thanks for the Zarbucks. Thanks for checking in. And thanks for the meter. EK why are you yelling, Moon Goddess? Why are we yelling? Moon Goddess, dial it back. I'm going to read it as if you're not yelling. EK preaching about standing before our Lord in heaven. Oh, please. That demon not ever going to know what that's like. No, EK, we don't forgive you. Widow, my tiny. Well, I guess that was hard to do without being loud. That's certainly your opinion, Moon Goddess. But I have my times I think the same. Popping in again after hearing that EK video talking about what gives her purpose. It's not her 9 to 5, blah, blah. Not once did she mention her kids. My son is 9 months old. Mom is who I am. Her babies didn't even make her list. Ooh. Them's tough words. But not out of bounds either. Not out of bounds. Not gonna lie, I considered buying a Freedom shirt. Jesse on Fire still wears his, and I like Jesse. I talk to him regularly. But he still wears his Freedom shirt. He says it's one of the best fitting shirts he's ever bought. Like, why do you wear the Freedom shirt so much? He's like, it's amazing. Feels so good. Actually, it's funny you mentioned this right here, because the clip I was going to play was her making that exact point, and I don't have the heart for it tonight. I just can't do it tonight. I'll have to do it tomorrow. I can't do it. Makes me sick. It's the clip where she's like, what am I going to do? Let someone else burn it down and resurrect it from the ashes? Who are you to think you have the ability to do that in the first place? Not going to lie. Oh. The Widow is a new drinking game. No shots, just a sip, because otherwise you won't make it through round 1. 2 sips when they mention this is what Charlie Kirk wanted. Man, if you did a drinking game on that, you'd be dead. Like alcohol poisoning in 5 seconds. Candace saying The Widow was hilarious. Alice Cooper's The Black Widow is so fitting for EK. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious when she was doing the Widow bit. Congrats on being a granddad, my B. Isaiah 9:16-17 sums up the TPUSA situation quite well, since they like to quote scripture about the widow. May God bless you and your family. Well, I'll give it a spin. Isaiah 9:17. Is this going to be one of those nights where I have to wear the glasses, or win a good night here? We'll find out in a second. Isaiah 9:16-17. Got to move the mic so I can get it far enough to read it here. Here we go. Getting old's not for the weak, guys. This is why the Lord does not spare their young men, and their orphans and widows he does not pity. For they are totally impious and wicked, and every mouth speaks folly. For all this, his wrath is not turned back. His hand is still outstretched. For wickedness burns like fire, devouring briar and thorn. It kindles the forest thickets, which go up in columns of smoke. That's some anger. EK leaving the conference because she couldn't endure it would be like Tim Cook walking out of an Apple summit because he couldn't endure it. A little constructive criticism on the new iPhone. Absolute clown show. Go Max. Yeah, I love how Dana Lash broke that news that she scurried off because she got her feelings hurt. And, they took 2 Gulfstream 5s to that event. Not one. Dos. 2 Gulfstream 5s. Delta flies. American Airlines flies. Like you can get on American Airlines and fly around. Southwest. What are some of the other airlines we got? United. 2 Gulfstream 5s from Scottsdale to San Antonio and back. We all got played. So many of us watched the memorial and cried sincere tears, unlike most who stood on that stage to memorialize CK. Disgusting. Agreed. Agreed. EK's speech on 9/12 is when I knew something was off with her. I'm a widow, and I was concerned after seeing her appearance and hearing what she said. No, you're not a member. You weren't on the member show. We tried on one of the member shows to watch that speech, there was some time between us and them. Couldn't get through it. Everybody in the chat was like, stop it. I don't want to watch this. This is horrible. So we stopped in the middle. You got good instincts. I just realized the first RBP show I watched was the Joe Meltdown. Oh, Stacy and Bloom, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that had to be your introduction to your humble host. I watched every episode. Oh, every show since. Okay, good. It worked out. You like angry people. Coeur Idaho. My sister Carrie and I love you. Christ is King. Number 1 is yours. Number 1 is yours. Coeur d'Alene. Or, ma'am, it's CDA, Idaho, is what we're told from other commenters who took issue with my pronunciation. Raise your hand if you've never let EK pet sit. This is my measure of could they be a psychopath? Would she walk, feed, play, and be kind? Doubtful. Nor would I let her babysit. TPUSA without Charlie is just TPUS faking gay. It's bland. It's bland. Each of these paid videos and advertisements were likely paid across all platforms. To think this is only data from one of them. Yuck. The emotional propaganda is really gross. Yeah, they did do a bunch of Google ads as well. We looked at that. You just can't tell the amount spent on Google. You just get to see the ad. But yeah, a lot of these ads were replicated across platforms. No doubt. Millions and millions and millions of dollars on this nonsense. Me in my best Hulk Hogan voice. Honor that widow brother. R.I.P. Hulk, number 1 fan. Leesburg, Joji. Home of Buster Posey, Philip Phillips, and Luke Bryan. Christ is King indeed. Who's Philip Phillips? American singer-songwriter. I believe you. I believe Google, too. Buster Posey. I like Buster Posey. Good baseball commentator. 22 years ago today, my youngest brother was killed in an accident at 13 years old. Changed our family outlook forever. Was in total shock for a year. EK is not a grieving widow. IMO. Christ is King indeed. I always say her toughest audience are widows. Her next toughest is people who've lost a family member close to them. And then the next toughest is just women as a class. Women don't like her. Like the paid ops on X like her, but I don't even think they like her. I think they just either get paid or they're just like lackeys or something. Your average woman doesn't like her. What does the tool say about Charlie add dollars before he? They sold a lot of merch the week leading up, which is really weird looking back. Regarding propaganda, cover the Smith-Munt Act of 2012. Yes. If you ever need clarification on any topic, just say. I need clarification on every topic. I don't think Corvette is about to be canned. I think he's jumping a sinking ship. Good luck, Blake. Mary Kay rep, get that pink caddy, baby. He can go back to his old gig. Actually, he can't because that guy's been trashing him on X. So he's out of that too. Got my letter from EK last week. I'm not heartless, so I put some emoji stickers on the donation form to make EK smile, along with a sticky note that said, "Not today, Satan." I wonder how many of those they got back. Everyone grifts differently. Oh, gosh. That's harsh. That's harsh. It hurts my heart to hear TPUSA and faith in the same sentence. I think if they never opened TPUSA faith, he'd still be alive. Headed out of town tomorrow for a week, and I'm going to be lost without my Baron and Candace fix. I don't think I'll resort to watching on my phone. Well, we'll have a bunch of replays when you get back. Or you can sneak it on your phone, either way. Thank you. 5 Mimbos right on your head. Friday, we're going to have Cassia from the Daily Freddo. I had a good suggestion today that I think will be a stellar membership show, and I think he'll do it. And I think it'd be a stellar membership show, and I'm going to ask soon for next week. See if I can get it scheduled for either Tuesday or Friday next week. Why would 2 Daily Wire employees be on the TPUSA stage? Because they paid to be there. Makes sense why so many mistake TPUSA for a company. Yeah, exactly. They think it's a for-profit company. They act like one. Use a word like it's a baby lamb, right? You. As you're talking, I open mail from the desk of EK using CK's name, begging for money. P.S. By the time my freedom shirt came 2 months later, didn't know what to do with it. Couldn't donate or burn it. His loss meant too much, so kept in honor. Christ is king, and Jesus loves you. That's a great way to honor him. Thank you for that. Erika, guys, we need a soulless, hateable person to defend me. TPUSA. Let's call the lady who spoke at CNN Town Hall after Parkland. I don't know what that means, but I believe you. Baron, glad you liked your shoes. Oh, West Michigan. Yes, I did. They're right here. I love them. Sent you an email with my contact info. Keep going. Max, Christ is king. Much love from West Michigan. West Michigan shoe lady, you're going to get some business because I shared this on a group thread with like 5 or 6 other podcasters. They were all insanely jealous. Like, give us the lady's information. I need some shoes. So that's going to work out for you. Those are great. Thank you so much. I really genuinely appreciate it. West Michigan shoe lady. I didn't remember that. Charlie Kirk said, never stop asking questions. TPUSA 2.0 says, stop asking questions. And any investigator that ever considered part of victim in crime is going to double hockey sticks. They need a Joe book. Yeah. They need more than that. They need Jesus, like real Jesus, not the one they claim. Hearing I want to lose weight like a pervert, not on my bingo card tonight. No. Did I say that? Hey, B, you're truly a blessing. As dark as the truth is, it's important. Many don't want us to see it. That's correct. My B, that's Dr. Widow to you, sir. Oh, I forgot. Christ is king indeed. Dr. Widow. Suggesting they rename the Charlie Kirk show the Blandrew Show. I got this nice ring to it. P.S. Hi, Tilber. Tilly, you're famous. Someone already renamed it the Bland or Blandy Show, but Blandrew works. TPUSA used to only ticket and promote indoor events, sometimes months ahead, versus with outdoor prove me wrong events limited to official campus marketing, maybe a week before the event. Only with CK, it worked. Duly noted. Does it not even matter if CK appointed her? Could the board not say we've had enough failing with you at the helm? You're done and boot her out. Also, I have widow fatigue. I have widow fatigue too. Yeah, they could kick her out anytime they want. They're the board. They run the joint. She serves at their pleasure. Did they spend to advertise the event after UVU that security didn't have to fight to? You're talking about the Colorado event the next day? I don't know. I didn't see any spending on that. But that was like at a church or a private school or something. They did spend to advertise the following event at Colorado State University the week later. Baron, it is a truly beautiful thing watching and listening to you. Thank you. Very kind, Buffalo and Brass. You have a mastery of communication, which I admire, and which appears to be rapidly approaching escape velocity in modern day. Well, thank you. Very kind words. On Podcast with Mosaic Team Memorial, timestamp 12:50 minutes. It sounded like he got called on September 10 or 11. No time to grieve, I guess. Chuck GPT said so. Now, I watched that podcast you're talking about. I actually played a bit of it on this show. Yeah, he got called quickly. I remember that. I can't even begin to imagine TPUSA's curtain expenditures. Well, she's tearing up the curtains in every hotel room. Can you imagine that cost? Get out of the curtains, lady. I never understood the bot farm. Always wondered if they were human or not. I get smarter by the day in this community. Thanks again, Baron and Daisy. You are the best. Kristen, that's our goal. We just want to get better every day. Thank you. Merch to kick off the new tour. Yeah, could be. Week before is because tour and school just started. I got you. That makes sense. They're milking this man's death for every dollar. That is correct. Gifted 5 membos. 5 membos raining down from the sky, falling like the dewfall. I loved the Ghetto Boys reference. Mine playing tricks on me. Excellent song. From your Murray County. Oh, you're in Tennessee. It's Murray County. Every other county would be Maury County. But if you're in Tennessee, that's pronounced Murray, ladies and gentlemen. From your Murray County 6th grade middle school spelling bee champion. The bee trophy is a heavyweight to bear. By the way, missed auxiliary for the W in 7th grade. Christ is King. I bet you'll never miss that again. Was it that second I? That's where I would have gotten screwed up. Now you can't win them all. Well, some people can, but not you. And not me either. I didn't win another one after that. Feeling super salty today. Please read Song of Solomon, songs 6-5 in your best TR furry or CKEK or any verse in that book for that matter. The entire book gives Victor Mark's retooling vibes for EK and those alike. I can give 6-5 a spin. Where is it? That's that sexy book. We don't read it. Like biblical, dirty talk. Like a dirty book. Where's the table of contents? I'll scroll. I may not be able to see it. I may not be able to find it. Oh, here it is. Oh, found it. Hidden. It's a short book. What do you say, 6-5? Turn your eyes away from me. I'm giving you my Lance Twiggs voice. Turn your eyes away from me, for they stir me up. Your hair is like a flock of ewes that come up from the washing, all of them big with twins, none of them barren. Barren? I mean, like, he means with an E. Let's stop using the word barren to mean infertile. It's offensive. It's like the R word. I'm beginning to wonder if they are so in our face with lies. Nikki, everything CK did not stand for purpose of telling us nothing we can do. Yeah. New shirt, freedom. Well, that's not going to be a good shirt. Can you get a transcript of the EK June 25 YW conference? What's YW? Oh, young women. She sounded in clips like she was pro stay-at-home anti-career. I think that's why they made up the lie that Charlie Kirk wanted her to take over. Yeah, made him out to be a giant liar. I did a whole show on it the other day. Epic Furry got me. Well, in regard to Charlie Kirk's freedom shirt, white was not his color of choice. I've wondered how many white shirts they had on order before 9/10. I believe one of B. Tatum's companies prints TP's merch. Is that true? Called Nudge Unit in the UK to maneuver social feelings, attitudes, and opinions. It's been going on for years. pre-internet too. Nudge Unit? Sounds dirty. And get your Nudge Unit away from me. Don't touch me with your Nudge Unit. On the stiff sent me. Did I say that? Oh, man, I'm at Corpse. New merch idea. Everyone rushes out to buy sandwiches because they want to lose weight like the Yeah, well, it's what happened. They had a whole campaign on it. I got away with words, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. Hey, you know what's funny? When I lived in Bloomington, the subway I used to go to was the pervert subway. That's where he used to eat. It's the one on, what road is that? 3rd? Yeah. It's like between 3rd and Jordan and 3rd and Indiana, whatever that is, right? There's like a little block or two there. It's right there. I think it's 3rd. It's been a long time since I lived in Bloomington. But that's the subway I used to eat in because it's pretty close to the law school. I could wander over there. Yeah, it's on the bus route. Yeah. Every time I was in there, I was like, this is where the pervert ate, huh? Every time I saw a kid walk by, I'm like, I bet Jared would have looked at that guy. I'm kidding. There were no kids. It was a college campus. Way too old for his taste. Absolutely flabbergasted to find Blake Neff Speed worked for Benny Johnson before Charlie Kirk. No, it wasn't Benny Johnson. It wasn't Benny Johnson. I would never want to be reordered in that moment. That would be very private. Oh, recorded. In that moment, very private. Love your podcast. Number 1, IMO. Sorry, Queen. Candace, he's kidding. Christ is king indeed. He's totally joking. When we say number 1 here, we mean number 2. We mean number 2. Only impression EK gives me is cringe. Also, dominant hand goes backwards. That's correct if you're a man. I want to see Alex Clark's new squeeze wring out a towel. I don't have any towels. This is my dominant hand, my right hand. So when a man wrings out a towel, he pulls that dominant hand backwards. Squeeze the water out. When a woman wrings out the towel, she pushes that dominant hand forward. I don't know why, but that general rule. I got money on the fact that man she's marrying, that person she's marrying, wrings his towel out, dominant hand forward. I'm just telling you right now, I can see him doing this number. Like, I can see him doing it. A man pulls that dominant hand back like he's riding a motorcycle. Get all kinds of education here. Hey, B, Google Daily Standard Newspaper 6/9 issue regarding moon landing. Armstrong is native to my area as well as Neil Armstrong Space Museum. Just thought you would find that interesting. Christ is king indeed. I probably would. I don't know that I have time to do it right now. It's late. Started late tonight. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. Charlie died. TPUSA just lectures people now. They don't debate or have conversations like Charlie did. Now everyone hates them. You know, it's interesting you mentioned that because when they do their events now, they take very few questions. Like Charlie was stayed there for 2 hours just answering questions. Now they do like a 45-minute speech and then like 10 or 15 minutes of questions, and they're always preloaded and like all the TPUSA people are the ones asking the questions, and they pre-screen them and order people so that they won't. I mean, there's no disagree, go to the front of the line anymore. I'll tell you that. Now it's always like, Erika, can you tell me, how are you so amazing? Erika, how are you so amazing? It's just so amazing what you do. How are you so amazing? Well, next question, please. Yes, Vice President Vance, tell us about how amazing Donald Trump is. Tell us why he's so amazing. That's kind of what it sounds like now. Christ is king indeed, sir. Christ is king indeed. Hey, brand new member, long-time listener. Imagine Charlie Kirk's poor parents and sister watching Erika and her friend filming that coffin scene. I feel awful for them. I do as well. Again, keep in mind, they were his family for 31 years. She was there for 4. And people are acting like it's like, well, of course, why wouldn't he want? I mean, 4 years. It's not like he ran TPUSA for 13. It's not, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It's the gaslighting, the op. It's an op. An op. Before I thought anything about EK, I was okay with the footage only because if someone took out my hubby like that, I want the whole world and responsible to see how real it was before my warpath. I'll give you that, Michaela. I'll give you that. I'll allow it. Why are her hands the same size as his or bigger in the coffin? He was a big dude. I've thought about that. But then I thought it often 2D is very difficult. So like if my hands are up here, they look massive. And my hands are back here, they look like little tiny hands. Like 2D is tough to judge size. So, absent her throwing a banana in the coffin, we're going to know how big his hands were. I thought Barron was leading up to slapping a hypothetical person instead of blocking them for behaving like Erika. Barron is more restrained than I am. Thank goodness, Serena. You sound violent. I kid. If you were on the stiff, yeah, granddad want to say how much you do means, how much what you do means. Then you said weird enough to be crying in a corner, but if you're on the stiff, oh, so thankful for this community. Love you. Yeah. I'd have to. I can't help it. Get off the stiff. Why did they believe EK could be shoved to us now? They just think they can get away with anything. They can get away with anything. They start believing that they're the ones responsible for everything that happened. Like, oh, we're geniuses. We can do anything. And I'm going to play the clip tomorrow. I'm not going to do it tonight. I cannot tolerate that clip tonight. But tomorrow I'll play it. And in it, she says, a lot of people said we should have appointed an interim. Why? So we could burn it to the ground and I would have to come back and resurrect it from the ashes? Who the hell told you could resurrect anything from the ashes? Where did you get this confidence? You have failed at everything in life that I can tell. Like nothing you've done has been successful. Nothing. You sold like 4 t-shirts before and you claimed you had a streetwear brand. You had a nonprofit that never raised or spent over $50,000. From public records, we can find one apartment you rented out as a real estate agent. What have you done that makes you think you can resurrect anything from any ashes? Does Grindr crash every time they have an event, or is that a joke? Because that's funny. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. So, I'm trying to find the one that had the picture about it. But yeah, I think it's true. I don't know. I think it's true. I can't find the picture right now. Yeah, I see a lot of reports of Grindr outage being reported in Phoenix, Arizona, where Turning Point USA America Fest is currently taking place. When Grindr crashes during the Turning Point in Phoenix, I wonder why are there only Republican events? So I mean that was the rumor. I was not there, nor would I have been on the surface to know. So that's the rumor. Still grieving. Today's 56 months, 1,705 days. This is from Protocol Widow. AK is a fraud. She gives widows a bad name. I can't walk away from what they did. She throws a party. Yeah. Widows feel that way. I'm telling you, I've yet to meet one that's like, yeah, I'm a widow and I love Erika. I've not met one. Innocent until proven guilty, yet EK forgives that man 2 weeks after husband's assassination. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is still in complete shock at story they were trying to sell us, saying, nah, nope, something ain't right. Anyone who's ever fired a cannon that's known as a 30-06 knows precisely that was not a 30-06. I've shot one. I mean, it's a cannon. It's a massive round. A massive round. We're not talking like a 308. We're talking a 30-06. A massive amount of powder behind that round. No, something ain't right. No cameras were allowed to film the royal family at Princess Diana's funeral. Respect. Did they get her kids crawling up in the coffin? They didn't post that on Insta. They didn't have Insta back then. I believe TPUSA had someone do a straw man community note debunking the EK video, claiming it was from a speech in 2023 where it was propagated with no evidence or even a link. It was planted. The problem with that is the way community notes are done. You can't really just have one person plant a community note. It has to be voted on, and then people have to give reasons why they're voting. I'm glad our tax money is going towards Philadelphia's advertising spend. How gross. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even put that together, Megan Moore. Excellent point. Great comment. We're paying them billions of dollars a year so they can indoctrinate us with propaganda. I don't give a Dom. I was just talking about you earlier, Dom. They may be accepting helicopters to fly over or boats to wade through the gold. They may also provide rides to lonely elders and explain how great the tax incentive donation is, just like chasing ballots. So what Dom is referencing here is she found a page on TPUSA where you can donate your boat or helicopter to TPUSA. You guys are going to have to follow her on social media to find it. I'll never be able to pull that up. But it exists. I looked at it. Thank you. What would a revolution look like this day and age? I really don't know. I thought we had one in 2016, then we got duped. Who had motive, means, and opportunity? It's a golden question. That was just Facebook Meta advertising, right? Sad. That's correct. That's correct. They were advertising across multiple platforms. TikTok, X, Google. Baron number 1 and 2 fans in St. John's, Arizona. Can you say hello to my lovely wife, Jennifer? Hola, Jennifer. Christ is king indeed. God is good every day. Good call. At my granny's funeral, when I saw her hands and rings she had worn for years, I broke down and was inconsolable. I would be mortified to have a video taken in that moment, let alone share it. Thank you for all you do, Baron. Christ is king indeed. Agreed. Principal be mighty proud of this one. My B. Yeah, she referenced the ad spend today. I was like, have you been looking at our show prep, Mrs. Principal? Dr. Principal? I'm going to give Candace an honorary doctorate. If Erika can get one, she can get one. I'm giving her an honorary doctorate. I got to figure out how to do that, and I'm going to get it done. It's going to be Dr. Owens. Dr. Owens. Apologize if the QR code for your clothing website I made was crossing the line and I broke the TM rule. That will not happen again unless you liked it and need something else done. I didn't know you made one. I believe you. I believe you, but if you sent an email, I didn't see it. But I don't have a problem with that. I think we have one. Hold on. I think we have one in here somewhere. Yeah, merch. Right there. Boom. QR code for merch. If you guys want merch, it's up there. But thank you. Hey, you guys get what you get. TPUSA did everything off the bat to thwart conspiracy theories. Disgusting video, EK in coffin, pick EK dangling CK necklace, CK mic on display, paving over crime scene, AK phone broken. I love RBP. The only thing TPUSA had nothing to do with on there was paving over the crime scene. I don't think that was them. It was the feds, and is there a difference? But the feds and the state, they wanted that done according to the guy who did it. I don't think TPUSA ordered that. I have missed a few of your last episodes. Shame on you. What's wrong with you, Thomas? Have you covered Jen being the new handler? Oh. Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. I can't wait for this reveal. Stand by. Bad facts. Front them. Always. Yes. Get them right out in the front. Baron, thanks for writing the Clydesdale called Truth. Christ is King indeed. CJK. Charlie's initials. CJK. Yes, please. Expose it all, Baron. I'm trying. That's why we love you so much. You are authentic, and we know and feel we can trust you, unlike TPUSA that spews lies and uses a dead man to line their pockets. Christ is King indeed. Love you. Well, I love you, America First Christ is King 26. Notice it's not 25. I don't know that I love that guy. But 26 I'm in with. That 26 is my guy. Hang on. I got to look something up here real quick. Yeah. So, yeah, that's, I'll cover it tomorrow. You mentioned something. Someone in a comment mentioned something a second ago. Checking in from Full Shear, Texas. Wants to be number one out of there. It's a Houston suburb. Full Shear. You guys pronounce everything weird in Houston, so it's probably like Fosher or Falsh. Probably like Falsh, Texas or something. Someone's going to write in and be like, it's Falsh. Baron, all you've done is formed a community of like-minded patriots who's been committed to finding truth. And you don't stop. And don't you stop, please. I will not. I'll be here. These old clips put a crazy perspective onto the nature of EK's demeanor. Affirmation that something's off. Love you, brother. Brilliant show. Daisy for the win. Well, thank you. Thank you. Unless police, lawyers, etc. get involved, how can anyone prove definitively who and why removed Charlie? Research you and Candace and others do is revealing, but how can anyone prove it? Well, it's like the JFK assassination. If everyone was like, well, Lee Harvey Oswald was killed and they stopped the investigation, so we're just going to stop looking into it. Like, there's truth to be revealed there. I don't know what we can do to make them. I mean, we can prove it. I don't know what we can do to hold them accountable. Don't forget, hit the like if you breathe air. Granddad's got the drip. Church fan orthopedic swag. Skater kicks. Wickles, pickles, Stockton. Pure brain cell Riz. If you don't like, take a hike. Go strike. I don't give a damn. We will allow people to watch who don't hit the like button. But we prefer they do. We'll check in on your likiness tonight. Oh, they're doing a good job. But yeah. The church van orthopedic swag. Baron, I watch your podcast because your honesty, opening statement, detailed research, love for the truth, and humor. Christ is king indeed. God bless you and the high IQ families. Hope Bean, I watched the podcast just to see if you comment. Thank you. Thank you for checking in. 5 months a member. We've been conditioned. Other countries, people are our enemies, like a sporting event, and we have to take sides. I'm over it. I have no enemies but Satan. I like that approach. Get behind me, Satan. Your legal background, the way you can break scenarios, sells the show. I was instantly a fan. Jeffrey, I'm instantly a fan of yours. Is that Ohio? Well, I will allow it because we beat Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship. Please watch the BB file. I've watched it. Miriam Adelson and Netanyahu are interrogated for corruption. Reveals possible intentions for October. I've watched it. It's excellent. Excellent documentary. B, anything new on the how side of the investigation? Yeah. But I'm not ready to talk about it. Tucker just posted a Facebook story about an hour ago showing Doors clip on CK's murder. Ooh, he must be ready to talk about it. TPUSA is crashing and burning. All those women who showed up to the Women's Leadership Summit to see Erika, and she bails on yet another commitment, cutting short her speech and fleeing. These women wasted their money. They got what they deserved. My B. I've watched almost every one of Tucker Carlson's episodes, especially since 910, and I swear he agrees with us. Almost every episode is about demons, possessions, evangelicals, the Bible out of context. I hope. I tend to agree. I think he's right there. Thanks for all you do. These people are beyond reprehensible, inhumane, and abusive. Then turn around and boohoo cry when we call them out. Love from Florida. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. My heart is so heavy over the in-our-face evil so rampant in the world. I continue to wrap all of this in prayer, and I'm genuinely grateful for God's gift of discernment from the HS and truth seekers like you. Oh, the Holy Spirit and truth seekers. Well, thank you. Thank you for putting me in such high company. Right there with God. I kid. I'm clearly not, but thank you. Thank you. The thing about lies, especially when there are so many participants in said lies, there will be problems with their stories, especially when you consistently lie. Just never lie. It's generally good advice. Pairing B and job and same is salacious pun. I don't know what that means. King B, just a big shout out to Dre. Excellent first live. And Baron, please have a laugh watching Victor Marks debate. It's hilarious. Did he do a debate? Who was in the photo Blake showed EK at White House Correspondents' Dinner? Thoughts on Metcalf verdict backlash? How can TPUSA be taken seriously after troll admission? I had that, and I didn't cover it, and I forgot to bring it up, and now I forget where it is. It wasn't anyone important. Well, I think Melania Trump might have been in it. I think she was standing, and there was a guy seated next to her. I can't remember who the guy was. The eyes, Chico. They never lie. She got crazy eyes. Love your show. Question, are we the people able to file a legit class action lawsuit against the government? Just curious. Not likely. Not likely. Amazing content, amazing delivery. Much love from your number one and most humble fan in Zephyr Hills, Florida. You guys got good water. Isn't that the Zephyr Hills water? Isn't it the water place? A lot of artesian wells in Florida. Watching live from Papua New Guinea. Christ is king indeed. A big fan of your content, Baron. Bless you and your family. Is that the island just north of Australia? Pardon my lack of knowledge of the Southern Hemisphere. Yeah, Papua New Guinea. How about that? Why don't you guys own the whole island? What's on the other side? What's on the other side? Central Papua. West Papua. Well, good. Thanks. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. All the way from Papua. We're huge in Papua New Guinea. There's Guineans left and right watching the program. Thanks for checking in. Eunice, thank you. How's Lori doing? No more updates from Erika. I hear she's not doing well at all and that she's in bad shape. Cohen film. I would buy a poster from you. Michaela, it's worth it. It's beautiful. I got emotional. I did not want to damage it at home. So I opened it up just enough to look and see what it was and put the copyright back on it. I wanted to take it to a document expert. So I found the perfect place that has the know-how to preserve old documents and for display. So I take it in there and they roll it out and I got emotional. I got really, really emotional. Mrs. Coleman and I had just watched the 4-part RFK documentary on Netflix. And man, when they rolled it out, it's so big and lifelike and in such phenomenal condition. I got so emotional looking at it. I cannot wait to get it back. They said it'd be 3 or 4 weeks. They had to order the special type of glass. Hi, Baron, another banger. Thank you. Oh, thank you. GBC, I must confess, I was a sub of Dre before I knew of you. Thank you for helping create and being there on Dre Day. You're a true gentleman and a scholar. Love you, G. Still number one in North Texas. Christ is king indeed. Ivan, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I was there when she started. I got to watch almost an hour before I had to go, but it was excellent. Low totem people at TPUSA who made a deal with the elite might be the scapegoats in the end because the elite who orchestrated CK's death won't be discovered. Well, that's correct. I believe that's correct. Like they always put like 5 layers between the real people. Hearing faith stories from others in the RBP chat helped me give the courage to go to confession for the first time in 25 years. My soul instantly felt light and a burden was lifted from my shoulders. Christ is king indeed. BJD, thank you for sharing that. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I was talking about early when I opened. This is what we do here. We celebrate. We celebrate. We pray for each other. We lift each other up in prayer when we need to. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. That makes me feel so good. So good. What luxury designer entertained DK with a custom necklace that was added to upon request? And why was it scrubbed from the internet along with the ancestry ties? I don't know what you're talking about. Did she have a custom necklace added to upon request? I haven't heard that. Would pay double, even triple for a Mrs. Coleman member show from your number one fan in Eureka, California, home of Ronald Reagan, I believe. Didn't he play at Eureka College? Or maybe that was Illinois. I can't remember. And stay-at-home mom, new homeschool mom. Help. I've told her how amazing it would be. And she said, what would I talk about? And I said, homeschool and raising 8 kids. And I just got a notification. She just walked in the door. Yeah. Just got the notification and she locked it back. So I can go grab her and bring her on camera right now, but I will not. I will not do that to her. Right, tired. It's late. B, if CK said the board would figure it out, AK said the board voted to elect EK. Does that not satisfy the technical part, aside from what his wishes clearly were? Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, that's it. It's over. At that point, it's over. And so had they left it there, had they just said Erika is, appointed and this is where we're going, this is what we're doing, and nothing you can do about it because we didn't know what to do and this is the best we could come up with, people would have gone, all right. But when you tried to cram into the conversation that somehow this is what she wanted or what he wanted, no, I'm not buying it. No one's buying it because that's not what he said. Even the clip they played isn't what he said. We got a great board. If God forbid something happens to me, they'll figure it out. I appoint Erika. James Files, JFK confession is fascinating. Oh my goodness. Is this Daisy's burner account or something? Vintage Hollywood stars? Do you know that for like 6 months she's been begging me to watch the James Files? James Files confession? At least, or as long as I've known her. I think she sent it to me like 13 times. Every time I'm like, hey, send me that again. I forgot. I don't know where I put it. And she'll send it. And then I don't watch it because I get busy putting a show together, talking to somebody. And then like a week or two goes by. She's like, hey, did you watch that James Files? I'm like, no. She's like, I'll send it again. I bet I've got 13 clips of it. I bet I've got links 13 times in my text somewhere. I'm going to watch it. Now she's going to think I'm watching it because Vintage Hollywood Stars wants me to. Then she's going to be mad. Do you think EK is being used? Does she care? I don't think she cares. If she is, I don't think she cares at all. Blake worked for Benny Johnson after Tucker, right? Not the person I'm thinking of. Baron excited. Looking forward to your show on all things. Tuskegee syphilis study. Winnish, hold please. Hello from Oakland, California. Did I not do that one yet? I thought I did that one. No, I didn't. That's one of my favorite stories to tell. In the story, when I do the opening statement, I will do it soon. When I do the opening statement, I will tell you about the time I met Fred Gray for the very first time. It was so humbling to be in the presence of a guy who had experienced that much history. It was cool being in Montgomery because you're around a lot of civil rights people. And I'll tell the story when I do the opening. I don't want to tell it right now, but it was a really cool story. Which country are they bots from? Bots Farm A. The one we were just talking about, Russia. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're from all kinds of countries. The list is what Charlie wrote and then said when interviewed by Laura Ingraham, correct? Comparing the priorities of young men, Trump voters, young women, Kamala voters. It wasn't a list of Charlie's priorities. Well, I think what people are talking about, though, is he did the list of that, and then below that, he wrote some other stuff. And that's what they're talking about, I think, primarily. Your highest market isn't LA or New York. Your highest market is definitely Northern California, medicinally, of course. Love your show. Shout out to Daisy. Don't do drugs, kids. And yes, I did my PT today. And yes, I still hate it. LOL. Well, but you're doing it. That's the important part. Sir, thank you, sir. Oh, I got to get this off. It's driving me crazy. Where'd it go? That. So, sorry. If you want merch, go to realbaronpodcast.com. Thank you, sir. Do you believe there's any hope of our once great country ever being redeemed from the current corruption? Christ is king indeed. Not without some great pain. Not without some great pain. When I was in law school, it would have been 2003, through 6. I remember talking to a classmate and telling him that I believe the U.S. had less than 50 years in its current form. And he laughed at me. He's like, what are you talking about? That was 20-ish, 20, 22 years, 23 years ago. I would like to contact him back and say, what do you think? How far off was I? I think I might still be on track. Thank you. Baron, our humble host, I'm grateful for your honesty and integrity. We're all better people for watching Baron. Well, thank you. That's a very kind thing to say. You're a better person. What a great testament. As our principal or anyone released what any of the recipients responded with them when Charlie texted about being killed. Love the show. As always, B, keep up the great work. Christ is king indeed. I haven't heard anybody's response. I haven't heard anybody's. Hope the defense has subpoenaed all that. The pic Colvette sent to Gary as proof EK was with her kids is interesting. A, Colvette told Gary, do not share. B, those kids were not EK's. They were older. I wonder if she was rehoming them. No, not rehoming them. I think here's my honest take on that. And, I actually don't fault Gary for this. Here's my honest take on that piece. I think what he was trying to do is use Gary's trust. And so he wanted Gary to be able to say, I saw a picture. She was with her kids. And everyone would go, oh, okay. And he'd be like, hey, I'm not going to share it because it's inappropriate. I'm going to share other people's kids on. Now, like, I haven't shared the pictures I have. And there's this whole scandal that it wasn't really a scandal. It was fake, but it was a bot thing. People were acting like I should have those pictures. And I'm like, well, the only reason people sent them to me were because these were people that work with her who hate her. And they think she had something to do with her husband's death. And they're trying to get to the bottom of it. And they're trying to figure out, does the picture I saw of her alibi photo, do they match these two faces? And they don't. It's not like I have like thousands of pictures, just a couple pictures of their faces. Like, are these the faces on that picture? No, they're not. They're not. I don't think they're her kids either. So I say all that to say that I think Gary was being taken advantage of, and I'm not willing to say yet that he knew it and like he was in on it. I think they were using him. Any thoughts on Carmelo Anthony in his 35-year sentence? He killed somebody, was found guilty. That seems about right. Baron, new member here. Which trailer park did you live in Auburn? What was your major? Ward Arn Eagle. I don't know the name of it. It's off of Webster. It was like between Wire and 14. You know where that is? There's like I think it's Webster. I think it's a little cut through right there. But you know where the Chantilly Quick is? If you're on Wire, take a ride at the Chantilly Quick towards the end. That's the best way I know how to tell you to get there. I'm assuming the Chantilly Quick is still there. I got rotten milk from the Chantilly Quick one time. I was so mad. When you're in college, you're poor, living in a trailer. And I opened the milk and I took a glug of it in my car. It was rotten. But I walked back in. He's like, you want to get a different one? I was like, no. You just gave me rotten milk. I want my $3 back or whatever it was. Yeah. Major was a business administration or something. Baron, your opening was brilliant. You distilled ideas that have been studied for decades and summarized it perfectly for how it applies. Now, social media age, it gives some order to the chaos. Thank you. Thank you. Baron, keep forgetting to claim my spot as #1 fan from Southern Vermont. Christ is king indeed. Southern Vermont. You got Christians in Southern Vermont? I was unaware. This may sound horrible, but I hope Charlie's a ghost that haunts them every day and night. I don't know if I still have it. I think I loaned it to someone. I have a book on ghosts. It's crazy. Hey, it might make my list. It's a cool book. I'll put it on the list. Now we're up to 7. Baron for super chat. Can we find the OG video where EK says Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Another edit to use Jesus by name without saying it. Twofer. Jesus Christ is King. I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. Wife and I like Baron. All those involved fits well with us. That is all. Duly noted. Duly noted. Baron Candace's Victor Marks interview. She asked how he found out about Charlie Kirk. Victor's reply, okay, I had someone text me and he said my son is at Charlie's event and Charlie was just shot. I think the someone is Rob McCoy. What do you think? Could be. Could be. OMG, I have to tell my boyfriend you're a fellow Fish fan. He'll be thrilled. Might finally pull him in as a subscriber. Yeah, I even have my favorite albums. I am a fan. I can't help it. It's hard to beat Hoist and Lawn Boy. I'm a classic Fish fan. I'd probably go in that order for my two favorite albums, Hoist and Lawn Boy. Know about every word on both of them by heart. Number one fan in Center, Alabama, by way of Carlisle, PA. I've lived in Carlisle, PA. I spent a year there. Shared a picture on X I made my husband take 2 weeks ago of the Hamilton while visiting the family. The H.A. Milton, the home of the Hachi dog. That's amazing. Baron, new fan. Sparta, Tennessee, top spot, if not taken yet. No, I've been to Sparta, though. Played a basketball game in Sparta. And the guest locker room did not have windows. And it was like January. It was freezing, maybe February. It was freezing cold. And probably the coldest day ever in Sparta, as I tell the story. Like 35 below or something, it felt like. And the windows were broken in the locker room. And it was cold. And then we went out to play, and they were rough. Mountain people are rough when they play ball. You look good in glasses, just saying. Thanks, B. Renee. I did not know that. But I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Just want to let you know that I really enjoy your content. Look forward to coming live every night with you. Longtime watcher, 3-month member, and congratulations, Grandpa. Thank you, Melissa Goodrow. I genuinely appreciate that. Had a friend make me a Freedom shirt because I didn't want to give TPUSA money but couldn't bring myself to wear it. Cannot stand to hear EK speak worse than nails on a chalkboard? She's really worked on the uptalk. That's proof that they watch this show. Proof. Coeur d'Alene. Oh, Coeur d'Alene. I always say Coeur d'Alene. Duly noted. Edge! Okay, fine. I don't have the budget to type out the Isaiah verse, but 1 Timothy has the same thing. Message, biblical footnote, see Erika Kirk. I know what you're talking about. Cincy here, the church is Mount Adams. Oh, Mount Adams. Mount Adams, Cincinnati Catholic Church. Yep, that's it. You nailed it. That's it. Holy Cross Immaculata Parish. Beautiful. And it's got a cool little town area right there. That was back when I drank alcohol. I went to a bar like pretty adjacent to the church. Had my fill. I don't do that anymore, ladies and gentlemen. No. Number one fan, Syracuse, New York, home of Syracuse University and Coleman's Irish Pub and upside down traffic light on Tip Hill. Christ is King indeed. Why would you have an upside down traffic light? Can you imagine the colorblind people and how confused they are? Because red and green's like a common colorblind pattern. Can you imagine what they go through? Sounds like a good Irish pub, though. Rewatched the Joe crash out last night. Makes me laugh out loud every time. Claiming number one fan from Murrieta, California. Love you, B. Christ is King indeed. Love you more, Jamie. I wish I had the better lighting that I have now and a better haircut. Clarification on any RU topic, i.e. Russian topic. Oh. Thank you. Came in late tonight. Rewatching that Erika, I knew immediately that the hecklers were planted. Choreographed a verse. Widow for nearly a year. Tonight would have been 54 years. Zero patience for EK. I will say this. You're right about the heckler being right on cue. So whether or not it was planned, it was awfully convenient for for what she said. And I don't know why the young lady would have waited so long to say something. Love you much from VB. You talking about Va Beach? My first show was the Joe Crash Out. I lost my dad 2024. Still hurts every day. Thank you for all you do. Baron. Christ is King indeed. Go Max. Thank you. Thank you. A funny coincidence. Victor Marks talks about nearly losing a book deal and says Salem Communications instead of Salem Media Group. Yet the book was ultimately published by Onesimus Publishing, which sits under the Salem umbrella. And then he was right. Maybe I didn't follow that. I grew up in Northern Virginia, Alabama now. There was a Six Flags over D.C. line in Maryland. My kids played a game to win a scooter. The runner-up prize was a Master P doll with a pull string, na for months. It was the early 2000s. I wish I'd saved at least one. That was fun. I did not know that was going to make the rounds on X. But it did. Thank you. Very, very generous, Renee. I'm using this to tell you, don't yell at Moon. Love you, B. Oh, I wouldn't yell at the moon. Why would I yell at the moon? After today's episode, I think Candace might really be pregnant with a boy. She went hard. Is that what happens when you're pregnant with a boy? You go hard? I'm trying to think Mrs. Coleman has had 5 boys. I'm trying to think if she ever went hard on any of them. Cincy, praying the steps, 94, to the Holy Cross Immaculata Parish has become an Easter tradition in Cincinnati. Wow. That's a lot of steps. I know it's way up there. June 2023, Prigozhin-led Wagner group in short-lived uprising against Putin, moving into Russia, headed towards Moscow just 2 months later. Prigozhin died in an airplane crash, attributed to an onboard explosion. Oh, he's very clumsy, that Prigozhin. Very clumsy. He fell. What Charlie wrote on that note is what he said on the Laura Ingraham show. Is his note. I've been told that 1,000 times now. Hey, I'm your number one fan, Brunswick, Maryland. Never heard of it. I bet it's great. Got him a freak? Oh, you're talking about the hand thing. Okay. I didn't know what you were saying. Some things you don't announce. My dominant hand goes back and I'm a woman. Well, I didn't say it's perfect every time, but almost every time. They should have spent some money on acting lessons, like how to cry on cue. Oh, on cue. No, she's an actress. You don't believe her, just ask her. BN, Blake Neff, MCWC, after Tucker, before TPUSA. Marine Corps War College. He was fired there about the same time he was fired from Tucker, from what I understand. What does it mean if I don't ring my towel like a woman, even though I'm a woman? I need to know. I don't know, Laura. I don't know. Do you have hairy knuckles? I'm kidding, Laura. I'm kidding. Would never suggest such. Brandon, do you think Cameron would catch it? So was she mic'd for coffin scene? I don't think oh, no. I don't think Cameron would catch it. That's a really good point. Because she was whispering, wasn't she? If she was mic'd for that scene, I'm done. Well, I'm already done. So I can't be more done. I'm doneer. Baron, I meant to highlight to you the widow's pick with her sickly mother. The comment she had on pick lines up with countdown to the day after CK and widow's legal appointment, suggestive of a return to mom and her. That's what I am thinking. I don't know if it's true, but it makes sense to me. First super chat, yelled mad. Second, third, cause you're without. Fourth super chat coming. I will allow it. I don't know what it means, but I'll allow it. Public needs to learn more about MG Vallely and his Cywar and Project Monarch work. Firearms company, Nemo, builds aerospace-grade weapons for CIA, SEALs, Pentagon, and private ops. See WikiLeaks for confidential business overview. Yeah, but he's just on the advisory board. I don't think you got... advisory board for a nonprofit is like an honorary position. That doesn't mean much. Revolution equals prey. Jesus is in control. That's a good revolution. I'm going to find a way to induce a situation that requires a towel squeeze when going on a date. It will help you a lot. It'll help you a lot. You'll identify the manly men right away. And man, if you do go forward with your dominant hand, I'm not suggesting anything, but practice. Love your curious mind. I'm just a backbeat country lawyer with a curious mind. Please post a P.O. box. I'm an author and would love to send you books for your littles. I have a P.O. box right here-ish. Somewhere-ish. Oh, there it is. Boom. There you go. Take a screen cap. Chat got testy because you scolded me. First super chat. Love them and you. I didn't scold you, Moon Goddess. I would never scold you. Of all the people I would scold, not you. Not you. EK smirks as if I recalled a joke in Apple Mac interview. Oh, EK smirks as if recalled a joke in the interview in which she said Apple Mac. So that's the Megyn Kelly interview, right? Okay. Too Short wrote a song about Erika. He wrote a lot of songs, and none of them are good. None of them are good. I could quote Too Short songs too. I'm not going to. I'm trying to think of one I can quote that's podcast friendly. Don't mean to kiss. We don't have to front. No. I can't do that one either. I don't know, man. I don't know. Fairhope, Alabama here, and I'm a widow. I could not do anything for a year after hubby passed. I find it offensive that EK is jet setting and not there for her children when Charlie made sure Erika did not have to work. Christ is king indeed. Marianne, Fairhope is beautiful, by the way. Beautiful, beautiful city. If you've never been to Fairhope, you're missing out. It's gorgeous. It's on the Eastern Shore, they call it. The Eastern Shore. Off of 98. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful country. I agree that he worked so hard and so long and so many hours and so many days and sacrificed so much to build up literally tens of millions of dollars so she didn't have to work. Yes, according to interview, feds ordered emergency pavers ASAP. But in my opinion, the WHO is running both TPUSA and government. Well, you might be right about that. Can't wait to see you on Tucker or Sean Ryan. Christ is king indeed. I would do either at the drop of a hat. I've actually gotten a great deal of respect for Sean Ryan here lately. Not that I didn't have respect for him before, but I just felt like there was a period of time where he sort of towed the company line a little bit. And here lately, he seems to just say what comes to his mind. And I love that. That's my kind of thing. And Tucker, obviously, the GOAT. Tucker has inherited the mantle from Rush Limbaugh as the intellectual heart of the right. Did you see if their advertising was on par for the UVU event compared to their advertising for their last tour? Very interesting. And this tour is an outlier. No, I didn't. I could do that. I could isolate it by date. EK, she's got man hands. I mean, you're not wrong, but that's not something. Well, I guess she might be able to help it. I don't know. I got to twist the towel towards me. I guess I need to update my pronouns. Lynn. Just means you're assertive. Did you find out if you knew Dank's family restaurant? No, we never. Did we talk about that? He did mention it. No, I was not familiar with it. Actually, now I remember. We talked about it. He mentioned it. It's not one I was familiar with. That's correct. Number one fan and friend from Nephi, Utah. Did I pronounce that right? Nephi? Blake Nephi? Nephi? You have your own city in Utah, Nephi? Is everybody there racist? No, I'm just kidding. Tucker's Episcopalian. He's in agreement. I am Reformed Presbyterian. I am in agreement with most all you believe. I don't know much about Reformed Presbyterians or or I don't know. Episcopalian, yeah, I guess. A lot, yeah. Rocky lost in the first Rocky. Oh, yeah. That was a bad analogy. But he didn't lose to a Russian. He lost to a guy in American flag shorts. And he came back and beat him. Well, no, he didn't. He died. Spoiler alert. Sorry about that, guys. It's been 9 months. It's been. Oh, that's Bare Naked Ladies. 1 week. It's been 1 week since you've been. See? Very eclectic music taste. It's been 9 months since Charlie was eliminated. People that did this to him will face the full wrath of God. The melody didn't really match the tone and tenor of your comment, but I agree with you. When Andrew and Blake said they were trolling the trolls, they admitted it was AI. Were they admitting it was AI? I was confused. No, I think what they would say is that that's why they only released a couple of snippets, and I don't know I don't get it. Second show in a row, I'm commenting. It's just me and my 12-year-old again tonight, as rest of fam is out watching together, raising high IQ babies, and your show has been the subject of many chats. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. I hope they were all good. RBP correction. Hecka love from Oakland. Oh, yeah, we don't say ugly words here. A good thing ain't always right thing, but it's a right thing is always a good thing. Wise words from my grandpa, Reverend Scott. Christ is King indeed. Blessings to all. Thank you, Kia, speaking truth. Putin chef became well known as the head of the Wagner private military group fighting on behalf of Russia early in Ukraine war. The U.S. got him to attempt to overthrow Putin. He failed. And it didn't work out well for him. He didn't make it. When you finish James Files, watch Conspiracy Theory. Edge? Duly noted. Random. I'm named after the Fleetwood Mac song Rhiannon. Rhiannon. Do. Dad changed the spelling to make it easier to pronounce. Not sure if it worked. Since you're a fan of Fleetwood Mac, thought you'd enjoy Christ is King indeed. I'm a huge Fleetwood Mac fan, Rhiannon. Huge. Thank you. If he didn't want to share anything, AK would have put that at the top of the letter, not at the very bottom. Bottom is just odd. Well, didn't work out. Keep forgetting to ask. Since Fort Worth and North Texas are taken, could I have number one fan in Tarrant County? I think that's taken too, but you can fight him for it. I bought a shirt on 9/13. It came in January. The only reason I kept it is because there's no TPUSA logo on it. I threw the bumper sticker in the trash. However, I wear my RBP shirt often. Christ is King indeed. I bet you look amazing in it too. Am I wrong? No, I'm not. EK is not the only widow of 2025. There are 1 million of us. How can she laugh about a Christmas eternity? I don't know. 1 million widows? Is that a year? Every year, 1 million widows? I'm sorry to hear that, Gina's journey. The widow stages grief rather than go through the stages of grief. Oh, that's actually interesting. Stages grief instead of going through the stages of grief. That's actually interesting. Stages of grief. I tried to do it with one ear and I just can't. I don't know how these people podcast with no headphones. I know some of them and I ask them, they're like, I don't know how you podcast in headphones. I'm like, I don't know how you do it without them. Baron, the U.S. government military were behind the guilty troll farms, not Russia. How do you not know that? Did you use AI or ask Rachel Maddow to do your research? Don't you know Russiagate was BS? Well, I mean, I suppose it's possible. No, I think it was a pretty common tactic. I don't also doubt that we were doing the same thing. Man Hands is a Seinfeld reference. Yes, the Man Hands episode. Number one fan from Awendal, South Carolina, just outside of Charleston. That's the most South Carolina sounding name I've ever heard. Where are you from? Awendal? Excuse me, sir? I'm from Awendal. That's the most South Carolina sounding. Like I can hear Lindsey Graham saying that. Awendal. I lost my dad and best friend in 2025. Your podcast literally kept me going through the hardest year of my life. Thank you for all you do. Christ is King indeed. Shay, that was very kind of you to say. And I'm sorry to hear about your loss. Too Short said, what's my favorite word? Widow. Oh, goodness gracious. I thought he said, what are you saying, Todd? Grand to four precious ones. My heart breaks for the U.S. they inherit. How can you reconcile have lots of babies with dark future of U.S.? There's nothing better than babies. There's nothing better than babies. You will never, ever, ever find a single reference in any holy scripture that says, and baby is anything but a blessing. No burden for babies. No burden for babies. Baron! Ex-chicks! I'm enjoying the thought of you getting all gangster, singing word for word of Too Short, Biggie, Tupac. You have quite the taste, my B. My B? Well, it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Heavy D and Salt. Heavy D all put in the limousine. I screwed it up already. Every Saturday, Mac Attack. Oh gosh, I don't know that one. I thought I did. I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Anyway. I'm not good at that one. But yes, I'm a fan of all music. Not all music. I walked in the gym one day and a guy was playing some sort of scream metal. Not my thing. Like it was like it kind of soft. And I was like, oh! I was like, what, dude? Why? Yeah. So anyway, you are blind without glasses. Reason for caps. Oh, Moon Goddess, you're yelling at me. Again. Erika's missed this verse. 1 Timothy 5:14. Advise these younger widows to marry again, have children, and take care of their own homes. Then the enemy will not be able to say anything against them. Wow. Is that in the Bible? I'm looking that up. I was trying to think if it's in there. I will find out. Right now. We're going to get to the bottom of this because I have Timothy in my grimy fingers. They're not grimy. They're very clean. Just got out of the shower. 1 Timothy 5:14. So I would like younger widows to marry, have children, and manage a home so as to give the adversary no pretext for maligning us. Is she considered younger? I guess that's the only question left, right? Yeah, good question. Good. My name is Shy. Thank you for all you do as always. Well, Shy? Oh, you just put the X's as like a yeah, okay. How do you log in? How do you remember how many I's that is? I would have trouble. What I won't have trouble doing is reminding you because the time is here, ladies and gentlemen, and you guys know it's true. I promise you know it's true. Jesus loves you. You must always remember Jesus loves you. No matter what else is going wrong in life. You're certain in that. I will be back mañana. I'll be back tomorrow night, tomorrow evening, Central Daylight Time. And then we'll have the member show Friday, 2 p.m. Mark your calendar. Cassia from the Daily Freddo will be here. I'm very eager to talk to her. She's from Poland. She moved to Cyprus. She has a great podcast, and I'm very curious to hear her story. I've just never heard her really tell much about her story. A little bit, but not much. And I'm curious to have her dig into it a little bit. She sounds like she'd be a fun conversation, and I look forward to it. Quite a lot. I have in my mind who I want to invite for next week if he'll do it next week. I think he will. And it'll be a big one. If I don't want to get ahead of myself. But I think he'll do it. I think he'll do it. All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, whatever. If you missed the live, catch the replay. Spotify has a replay. We put the replay now up on Rumble quicker than we were doing there for a few days. Of course, YouTube will have the replay here in mere moments, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.